if the court would allow it. Mr. Chase has been here every time that we've been here. The victim in this case is just too unwell to travel. So at this time, we are not able to proceed.
You have any objection to proceeding with your client in absentia?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So people being unable to proceed, are you moving to dismiss?
Yes, Your Honor.
People being unable to proceed. This case is dismissed. That is without prejudice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And June 23rd.
Because that's the last time. Ready on that.
That it's safe. Lee would fill it up. And it was good water. But now he's back. I'm gonna let you know also. Excuse us a moment. When that sound came on. She was trying to keep me safe. I'm just letting you know. I'll show you the video. Court does call the case People versus Victor Bullard. Are you ready on that?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim has arrived. Ashley Lonnie for the people. This is the public defender Natalie Pate with on behalf of Mr. Bullard, who is approaching. Your Honor, may we approach?
You may.
Behalf of Mr. Victor Bullard, who stands to my right. Please state your name to record, sir.
Victor Bullard. Thank you, sir. All right. Date and time set for trial. Are we ready to proceed?
People are ready to proceed. We would move for sequestration. I'll note for the record, my officer in charge is sitting at the table with me, but I only have one anticipated witness who is currently on the program.
All right. Court would grant the motion to sequester. Are there any potential witnesses for the defense other than the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. That is satisfied. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. With defense's consent, I'd also waive opening at this time.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor, and defense would also be waiving opening at this time.
All right, fantastic. Thank you.
Ajane Bullard.
All right.
She stepped out for the moment, Your Honor.
Say she stepped out.
Restroom, Your Honor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes, both for me.
Got it. Please come forward and be sworn.
See, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
See. State and spell your first and last name for the record, please.
AJANAEBULLARD.
And that's on Janae Bullard? Yes, thank you. Inquire.
Ajane, do you have a nickname you go by?
Yes.
What's that?
Asia.
Okay. Is it okay if I call you Asia?
Yeah.
Asia, we are making a recording, so when we say things like, they don't really come through on the recording, so we may ask you just to confirm if your answer is yes or no, okay? Asia, how old are you?
17.
And how old were you on May 12th, 2024?
15.
Where do you live?
4695 Ashford.
Do you know what township that's in
Pittsfield.
and what county? Okay. Your Honor, would the court take judicial notice that Pittsfield Township is in Washtenaw County?
Yes. Court will take that judicial notice of it.
Thank you. Do you know somebody by the name of Victor Bullard?
Yeah.
Who's that?
My dad.
And do you see your dad in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
Can you tell me where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
Wearing a gray suit.
And where is he sitting?
He's sitting right there.
Your Honor, may the record reflect witness identify the defendant.
That objection record shall so reflect.
Asia, on May 12th, 2024, were you at your house? And what was going on that day when you got up?
So it started out normal. We do chores every Sunday.
That was a Sunday?
Yeah.
All right. What happened when you were doing your chores?
So my chores is clean bathroom. That's what I did. And so my dad was gonna leave to go to his mom's
Why was he going to his mom's on that day?
because it was Mother's Day.
And when your dad was going to leave, what happened?
We got into an argument because I had asked my TV back because he was going to be gone for more than a day. So I had asked for that.
Had your TV been taken away?
Yeah.
What TV was this?
My TV.
Where, it's in your room? Who bought it?
My mom.
Why did you want your TV back?
Because I had had it for like months and months and months.
What did you want to do with it that day?
We were just gonna be home alone, so like I wanted to do
Who's we?
me and my siblings.
Where was your mom?
She was doing errands.
Does she live at that house too? Was she there when your dad was getting ready to go to his mom's house? Do you know where she was at that time? What happened after you asked for your TV back?
It's escalated.
What do you mean it escalated?
We started arguing because we didn't agree on the reasoning why I got it taken.
And who is we?
Me and my dad.
You started arguing. What happened next?
He was downstairs and I was upstairs and we were like arguing and he ran upstairs. And it was like halfway up the stairs and he was yelling at me and
What was he saying?
it was just like we were just arguing about the reason why I just didn't have it.
What happened as you was going up and down the stairs?
He just looked mad and he looked angry.
What happened next?
Then he went back downstairs and then he started back up the stairs. And then he came all the way up the stairs this time, like where I was. And then he just started yelling in my face
Where were you when that was happening?
right up in my room.
You have your own room?
Yeah.
It's on the second floor?
Yeah.
So he got in your face. What happened next?
I had like, he was like so close to me, like he was like a couple inches away, and I was scared because I could feel him spitting in my face. He was way taller than me, he was bigger than me, and I knew he had a gun on him, and
You knew he what?
he had a gun on him.
Okay.
Um,
Where was the gun?
and
In his pants? What happened after he got in your face yelling at you outside of your room?
he told me to go to my room. And so.
Did you?
Yeah, I quickly turned because I was scared. Because, wasn't like the first time. Like, he had gotten that like that.
So when you went in your room, what happened?
Then he quickly chased after me. And he grabbed me and he scratched my neck.
Where did he grab you?
He grabbed my arms. Both of them.
What happened next?
I said, why are you trying to hurt me? And then he left.
Did you end up calling the police?
Yeah.
And Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to admit into evidence what I'm going to mark as People's Exhibit 1, which is the 911 call. I believe it will be stipulated.
That is correct, Your Honor. I did talk to Ms. Lonnie.
All right. Exhibit 1, the 911 call is admitted.
Permission to play for the court?
Yes.
Washington on 911, where is your emergency?
Hi, my name is Bullard, and I'm at 4695 Ash Court. I'm calling because my dad was animal case and he was yelling at me.
Okay, what's the address?
4695 Ash Court.
Is that ASH?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're in Pittsfield?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 15.
When did this happen?
So I just now.
What's his name?
Victor Lawyers.
How do you spell the last name?
Bullard.
How old is he?
I think he's like 54.
Okay. And what kind of vehicle do you live in?
He left it.
What color? What was your name?
Asa Bullard.
What's your phone number, Asia?
734-596-1646.
Okay. So you said he hit you? What did he do exactly?
He grabbed my arm, scratched me, but
This is about over an argument?
yeah,
Okay. Do you live there with him?
yeah,
Okay. Then you live there with anybody else?
yeah, my previous religion.
Are they home?
My mom was someone taking us there, and my other sibling at home, because he's an adult. So he
Okay. Okay. All right. Any weapons used or involved?
He had a gun in his hair, like,
Did he have it out Is it a holster? Okay, when you say you had it in his pants, did it have like in a pocket, was it clipped on?
I think it was like in his hand, my hand.
Okay, okay, all right. Do you need any medical attention?
No.
Was he drinking or under the influence of any narcotics that you aware of? Okay. All right, let someone come over and talk to you, okay? If he comes back or if there's any other issues before we get there, call us back, all right?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Asia, you mentioned that some of your siblings were home when this happened. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to review a video that one of your siblings made?
Yeah.
And that video, Your Honor, for this time, I'd ask permission to enter People's Exhibit 2, which is the video from the sibling. I believe it will be entered by stipulation as well.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Exhibit 2 is admitted.
And Asia, when you reviewed this video, it didn't show anything, correct? But what did it have on it that was relevant to what happened that day?
The audio of the incident.
The audio of it? Okay. You have permission to do,
Yes.
sorry, Your Honor, it clipped the beginning a little bit. I'm gonna go back. Apologize. Asia, did the police come to your house on that day? Did you talk to them?
Yeah.
Did they take any pictures of you? What did they take pictures of, if you remember?
They took a picture of my scratch and with my door.
Why did they take a picture of the door? Had it been broken before? A little bit? And Your Honor, permission to approach the witness and the bench with what's been marked as Exhibit 3.
Is there going to be any objection to Exhibit 3?
No,
It's
Your
it's
Honor.
multiple pages. There are 3 pages for Exhibit 3.
Your Honor, at this time, I am going to object to part of Exhibit 3 that does have multiple photos. I do not believe a foundation has been laid.
Well, before you go on with that, there are 3 pages. Are you objecting to all 3 pages or?
No, Your Honor, I would not be objecting to the first 3 photographs that are shown in this exhibit.
Okay,
So the
I haven't
first-
seen it, so.
Yes, the first page and a half, I would have no objection to. The last page and a half, I would, Your Honor.
It's not making much sense to me. How many photos are on each page?
2, Your Honor. And I object to the first or the last 3 photos.
So I have a total of 6 photos.
Correct, Your Honor.
First 3 photos you have no objection to.
Correct.
The last 3 photos you do have an objection to. And the basis for your objection is,
Lack of foundation. I believe that this may be rectified if these were 2 separate exhibits. They do have photographs of 2 separate things.
response.
Your Honor, the witness has stated that her door got more broken in this incident. Part of People's Proposed Exhibit 3 is photographs of the door taken by Pittsfield upon their response. I believe that if there are questions about how broken the door was, if it was broken at a later time, at an earlier time, those can be ample grounds for cross-examination, but I do believe the foundation is sufficient for the admission.
Basis for the objection.
The basis for the objection, Your Honor, is that the last three photographs or photos of the door and the testimony from the witness was that the door definitely was broken before. And I do not recall any
Well,
testimony.
that wouldn't go to admissibility, it would go to the weight to be given to the testimony. So objections overruled, exhibit is admitted.
Okay, here. Permission to approach still?
Yes.
Thank you. Copy for the court still. Asia, do you see People's Exhibit 3 in front of you? What do you recognize that first picture on Exhibit 3 to be the top one? That's the scratch on your neck? Who caused that scratch? Did you scratch yourself to do that? How about the second picture? Can we go to the next page, page 2 of Exhibit 3? The top picture, what do you recognize that to be? Same scratch, of course. And the second photograph on page 2? How do you know that's your door? How was it broken before this incident?
It was like, there's just a little, it was like a little dented, but it's got bigger.
How did it get more broken?
My dad pushed.
Is that when he pushed in and went in your room?
Yeah.
And let's go to the last page. What do you see in the top picture there? How do you know that's your door? Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
When your dad pushed into your room, was he able to open the door all the way?
No.
How come?
There was stuff.
Is that in any of the pictures on page 3?
Yeah.
What's behind the door that was in the way? And that last picture that also shows the broken door?
Yeah.
Okay, you can stop looking at those now if you don't want to look at them anymore. Asia, how did you feel when your dad grabbed your arms and scratched your neck? Was he giving you any commands or any orders that you were disobeying at that time? Let me ask a better question. Was he disciplining you?
Yeah.
How?
He was mad. I was, talking back.
He was mad that you were talking back, so he broke in your room and yelled at you and grabbed your arms and scratched you?
Yeah.
Was he, after this happened, did he stay? Where did he go?
He left.
He left his mom's house. And when you were at your house and the police came, was your mom there at any point?
No.
She came later. Asia, did you do this to yourself, the scratch mark? May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yeah.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Hi.
My name is Natalie and I'm an attorney for Mr. Bullard, so I have some questions to ask you. And I know this, I used to hate it when people would call me Miss Pate, still kind of do. Would you prefer for me to call you Miss Bullard or Ajane or Asia? Asia, okay, thank you. You feel free to call me Natalie. So I just have a few questions to ask you to follow up on your testimony. If at any point my questions are either unclear or I'm mumbling, feel free to interrupt me and tell me to either rephrase, re-ask, whatever the case may be. So I'll turn right to the day of May 12th, 2024. You testified that you were 15 at the time of this incident?
Yeah.
And you and your dad before this day previously had some disagreements about some of his rules, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't like some of his rules surrounding when you could or couldn't use your TV?
Yeah.
And you didn't like some of his rules about when you could or couldn't go out and see your friends, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that sometimes your dad's a bit hard on you?
Yeah.
And then turning to the incident, you told the police that this interaction with your dad began that day in a verbal argument, right?
Yeah.
About his rules regarding that specific TV?
Yeah.
And you were mad that he wouldn't let you continue to have it in your room? And you did tell the police when they arrived that your dad did not threaten you at any time during this argument, correct? And you told
What was your answer to that? You don't know?
Wait, can you re-ask that?
you told the police that your dad did not threaten you at any time during this argument, correct? You told the police that your dad tried to grab you, correct?
Yes, he did.
And you told the police that your 3 siblings were present during this incident, correct?
Yes.
But none of them saw anything?
No, and they're.
And you were the person who called the police that day, correct?
Yeah.
And that was at the encouragement of your older brother?
Yes, he said it to do if I felt unsafe in my house.
That what?
He told me to do if I felt unsafe in my house.
But your dad had already left the house that day, correct?
Yes.
How old is your older brother at the time?
23.
Does he live there?
No.
Was he there?
Yes, he came after my sister showed the video.
After what?
He came after my sister showed me the video, and I called him because I was scared.
So he wasn't, so the first call you made was not to 911?
No,
The first call you made was to whom?
my brother.
And that was after he had received information, you believe, from someone else? Your sister?
What do you mean?
Well, one of your siblings sent the video that we saw. I think it's Exhibit 2, right?
Yeah, he didn't see that till he got there.
Okay, so prior to him, so your brother appeared after you called.
He was there while I was calling them,
What? While you were calling who?
the police.
Okay, but you called him first,
Yeah,
and that's why he came over.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead, Ms. P.
And your dad had already left the house at that time, correct?
yeah,
And when the police arrived, you declined medical attention, correct?
yeah,
And you knew that you could possibly get your dad in trouble by calling the police that day, correct?
yeah,
And you were pretty upset with him that day?
yeah.
And so now I have a couple of little odd questions. You typically do your nails, correct?
Yeah.
And you often wear them pretty long, correct?
Yeah,
Including fake nails or acrylics.
yeah,
And you often style your own hair as well?
yeah.
And then I have a couple follow-up questions about your testimony. So are you aware that your dad is a valid CPL holder? And you testified that he grabbed your arms, correct?
Yeah.
You did not testify that at any point he grabbed your neck, correct?
Yeah.
And you also testified that this door definitely was broken or damaged in some way before this incident, correct?
Yeah.
You're not listed on the title to the house, correct?
Yeah.
If you know, who is on the title to this house?
My dad.
So the owner of the door would be your father, correct? The door is not your personal property, correct?
No.
No further questions. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you have any follow-up?
No,
I said
no.
you do. The TV was in your room?
Yeah.
How, and at some point, it gets removed from your room.
Yeah.
How long before May 12th was it removed from your room?
A lot of months.
Pardon?
It was months.
Months?
I think it was close to a year.
A year? So why did it get removed from your room?
Because I had on past 12.
Because you had it on past 12?
Yeah.
So was it a rule in your house that you weren't supposed to be watching it after midnight?
It was more like, it just like, so my TV goes off by itself.
Pardon?
My TV goes off by itself after like a couple hours of inactivity. And he got said that it would like run while sleeping for a little bit. And
Okay.
so he said I have on past 12 and then he,
So young lady, let me ask you this. Was there a rule in your house that you weren't supposed to have the TV on after 12?
yeah,
Okay. And at some point, it was on after 12, regardless of the reason, it was on after 12.
Yeah.
And so from that, the TV got removed from your room.
Yeah.
Okay. And was that removed from your room by your dad?
yeah,
Okay. In this, let me ask you this. So you knew what your dad's position on that was, right?
yeah.
Without telling me what you said, did you go to your mother about that?
Yeah.
Did your mother put the TV back in?
No, she didn't have access to get it.
Okay. So this day, May 12th, a year, I guess, after the TV's been removed or whatever. What were you and your dad specifically fighting about?
Like what do you mean?
Well, something caused the argument between the two of you. What was the cause of the argument?
Because he was leaving and I had asked my TV dad.
Okay, so hold on. Those are sort of two things. Were you upset that he was leaving?
No,
Okay, were you upset at that point that you didn't have your TV?
yeah, and the reason that he was saying, because he kept adding on reasons like all the time. Like, it wasn't like the original reason that he took it.
There was no reason for what?
Like he, like was saying the reason that he took it was a different reason than what he said originally, and that's what we were arguing about. That's why.
Okay, so just help me understand this. At some point, the TV gets removed from your room because it's on after midnight. Then at some point, I'm going to assume that this May 12th date was not the first time that you asked for your TV back.
Yeah.
And if I'm understanding you correctly, the times that you would ask, your dad would give you different reasons as to why the TV didn't come back in.
Yeah.
Okay. And when he would give you these other reasons as to why you couldn't have the TV, was that upsetting to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just as a side note, was that the only TV in the house?
No.
So then this day you want the TV back, and what's your dad's response to that?
He said, no.
Okay. And I'm going to assume you didn't like that answer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when your dad said no, what did you then do?
I asked why.
Okay. And then he responded back to your why, right? What did he say?
He said, because like I was like hanging out with my friend. It wasn't supposed to be.
Okay. So when you asked why, he said, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to understand what you're telling me. He said it was also because you were hanging out with somebody that he did not want you hanging out with.
Yeah.
Was that? Don't give me a last name. Who was your friend?
It was just my friend.
Okay, I get that. Who was your friend? Name.
His name is Dwight.
Okay, so,
We just went to the park.
pardon?
We just went to the park.
Was there a reason your dad didn't like this friend?
No.
Well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Why do you think your dad didn't like that friend?
I think he didn't like it because he's a guy, but that's my little sister, he's no guy, so.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. So at the time you're 15 and your dad has told you not to hang out with this young man.
Yes. After.
Well, hold on. He had told you not to do that, right?
After the fact,
After what fact?
after doing that with him.
Okay. Okay. So at some point you're hanging out with this young man, right? Then your dad says, I don't want you hanging out with him. It's a yes.
Yeah.
And when your dad said that, how'd that make you feel?
They make me feel really included.
It didn't make you feel any way?
Yeah. It just like, I mean, it felt like unfair.
Oh, okay, so it was unfair. So when he said on, now I'm going back to May 12th. So when he, being your father, said because you were hanging out with this person, what was your feeling?
I just felt like it was unfair because he let my sister do stuff like that and like hang out.
How old is your sister?
She was, I think she was like 11 at the time.
Okay. So she was 11 at the time and she was hanging around boys.
Yeah.
Okay, but you felt it was unfair that your dad wasn't letting you hang around boys.
Yeah.
So after your dad told you not to hang out with this boy, did you hang out with him? You didn't?
Not after that.
Not after that?
Not after the police got called and stuff.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's back up. At some point, your dad tells you not to hang out with this young man.
Yeah.
Okay. After that point, but before this May 12th day, did you hang out with that young man? Do you recall the date your dad told you not to hang out with that young man?
No, I don't.
But it was before May 12th?
Yeah.
Okay. So between the time of that and the incident on May 12th, where you called the police. Did you hang out with that young man?
Again,
Yeah. So when your dad told you not to hang out with him, you stopped.
yeah.
Did you tell your dad that on that date? On the May 12th, when he said it was because you were hanging out with this guy?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you mean you think so?
Cause I think I said like, I hadn't hung out with him.
What was your dad's, if you said that, what was your dad's response to
He
that?
said that's the minute, so that's why. He said he wants to talk about it when he got back from his mom's.
So he said he wanted to talk about it after that?
Yeah, after he got back.
What?
After he got back from his mom's, he said he would talk about it later.
Okay, so at the point he tells you about this young man on the May 12th, at some point, he then tells you, basically, I'm going someplace, but we will talk about it later.
Yeah.
Did that upset you? Okay, so I hear, when I listen to the video, I hear, no, that's you yelling back at your dad, right?
Yeah.
What were you yelling back at him about?
I was asking for my TV because basically I was paying a subscription. And I'm just going for like,
You were what?
I was paying for a subscription for my Xbox and it was going for like a long time. I haven't had my TV in a while. And so I was upset that I was also paying money and I couldn't even,
So were you working at the time?
no.
Okay. So you had a subscription. Were you paying it?
Yeah.
From where?
I was like, I just asked my mom for money
Okay, so, all right.
or like went and worked like by doing like little side hustles, like babysitting. So my money was very like, I didn't like have a lot of things.
Right, but got it. I won't get into that. So at some point, your dad's leaving, you're there are words being exchanged. Where are you when this argument takes place? Is your room upstairs or on? Okay, so where are you guys downstairs when it first happens?
No, I was in my room.
Pardon?
I was in my room and he was like going up and down the stairs, getting ready to go to the mom's.
Okay,
But I like stayed in my room the whole time.
you did not.
I stayed in my room the whole time besides when I went to the hallway.
Okay. When you went to the hallway, you and your dad are yelling at each other?
Yeah, he was like on the stairs and then we went downstairs and then he ran up the stairs halfway because our stairs like.
Okay, so when he went downstairs, what do you think caused him to come back upstairs?
Maybe didn't like something he heard and that made him.
Okay, you didn't like what he heard. So what was he hearing?
Just arguing about,
What were you saying, young lady?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay, let me ask you this. You don't remember specifically what you were saying?
Yeah.
Were you saying things that maybe your dad thought were disrespectful?
I don't think necessarily.
Okay. Were you saying things to your dad that you knew would get his attention?
I think I was saying what I felt and how in my truth.
Okay, but you also knew, correct me if I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong. You knew that as you were saying those things about how you felt in your truth, you knew that was not gonna sit well with your dad.
Yeah, he doesn't like anyone that disagrees with him.
So at the time that you're saying those things, you knew that was gonna get a reaction.
Not like that.
Well, didn't ask that. You knew that was going to get a reaction.
Somewhat.
And that's when he came back upstairs.
I didn't do it for reaction. I did it for.
I didn't ask you why you did it. I'm saying you knew it was going to get a reaction of some type, whether what your motivation was, you knew it was going to get some reaction, right? And then at that point, that's when he came back upstairs. Okay. So how did he arrive at your door?
So after he went upstairs, he went back down and then he started back up again, all the way to my door.
Okay, so when he went back down and then you say he darted back up, did you say anything at that point?
Yeah,
What did you say?
when he was at my door.
No,
or
no,
when-
something caused him to come back up. Did you say something and then he came back up?
We were just continuing arguing, but, and so.
What were you saying during that argument?
I don't remember. Like,
You don't remember.
specific.
You can remember everything he said. You can't remember what you were saying?
No, I just remember like in general what it was about.
And what was it about that you were telling him?
I was just like, why can't my TV back? It's been a long time and that I don't hang out with that guy anymore. And it's unfair that you let my little sister that's younger than me, and I'm about to turn 16, like a few weeks, and she can do what I can't.
But those are all things you said before, right?
Yeah, just like, it was like a continuing argument.
Okay, were you yelling?
I was like talking normally at first and then
At the point, okay, let me be specific. At the point he went back downstairs before he, as you say, darted back up, were you yelling?
I don't think.
You don't think you were yelling?
I think maybe like slightly raised, but I don't think.
Slightly raised, but not yelling. Okay. And then he got back up the stairs and he's at your door.
Yeah.
So when you're at your door, or you're in your room at that point.
I was, when he came up the stairs, I was in the hallway.
Okay. So he comes up the stairway, you're in the hallway. So when he comes up the stairway, there's a landing, I presume, or the hallway,
Yeah.
right? When he gets to that landing, where are you?
I'm in front of my door.
You're in front of your door. Okay. And I'm presuming that the two of you are still engaged or talking or yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then at some point, you what, go in your room?
He had to let it go to my room.
What?
He had to let it go to my room.
He told you to go to your room.
Yeah, like right in front of my face.
Pardon?
When he was like right in front of my face.
He told you to go to your room.
Yeah, and then I turned.
At the point he tells you to go to your room, had he laid a hand on you?
No, but he looked like he was.
Didn't ask that. He hadn't laid a hand on you. When your father told you to go to your room, did you go right to your room?
Yeah, I turned really quick and I went to my room. I didn't touch him or anything. I was too scared, so.
So when he told you to go into your room, you went into your room.
Yeah.
What's the next thing you did at that point?
So I went to my room and then he chased in right after me. And I tried to close the door because he like, it just scared me. And,
Did you get the door shut? Did you get the door shut?
no, not fully. And my door didn't latch closed, so.
So young lady, I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at. I want to show you, and council, I'm referring her to page 3 of exhibit 3. I want to show, oh, you got it. Okay, you got one in front of you. Look at page 3. Right? I see a latch missing.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
So if you're, again, I'm going based on what you're telling me. If your dad is at the door, you're trying to close the door, but it doesn't close. How'd that latch get damaged?
I had my sibling had done it a while ago.
Okay, so the latch isn't in the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at that, tell me what damage your dad did to the door, I'll call it, on that day.
It's the big, like, in
The big indent.
Yeah.
What big indent?
like, the part of the door, is, like, broken, like, on the, like, actually.
Point at it for me. Oh, on the front of the actual door. So the latch, he didn't break.
Yeah.
And council, she's pointing to, I guess it would be page 2. The
Photo
circle.
4, Your Honor.
Pardon?
Photograph 4 of exhibit.
Yeah, I guess we can call it that. And so it's that little crevice in the door. How do you think he did that? He's obviously on the other side, right? So how do you think he did that?
Well, because I was on the other side of the shot, when it shot with my body weight and he was.
So let me get this right. He's on one side of the door, may have some part of his body on the front part of that door, because it's what's called a hollow core door. So he's on that one side. You're actually pushing on the back side of that door.
Yeah.
So it's not like he kicked the door. He's just against the door.
Yeah, he's pushing it like his whole.
So wouldn't you agree that both of you caused the damage? Because hang on, and here's the reason I'm asking. If you're not pushing on the one side of the door, but he's just pushing on the side he's on, according to you, that damage doesn't happen, right? Because he's just able to come right in.
I mean, like, what do you mean?
The only way that door gets damaged on that side or at all is because there are two forces pushing on that door. Your dad from the outside and you from the inside, right? So it's not like he came up to the door, he kicked it, or it was locked and he kicked it to get in or anything along those lines. Okay. So he gets into, so at some point, does he get into the room?
Yeah.
At the point that he gets into the room, what's happening at that point? Are you still yelling at him? Or are you guys yelling at each other, I should say?
Well, I was, he like grabbed me. And I said, why are you trying to hurt me? Because he was obviously like he was trying to do something. And
What do you mean he was trying to do something?
like, I feel like he was trying to hurt me.
Really?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'm looking at your dad and I looked at you walk up. Young lady, if your dad really wanted to hurt you, he could have hurt you. Right?
Yeah,
That's not what happened. Right?
what do you think?
I think you know what I mean. If your dad really wanted to hurt you, he could have hurt you.
Yeah,
And that didn't happen.
I mean, it did hurt. He looked like he was like trying to do something.
What?
It looked like he was trying to do something. It looked like he just like couldn't control himself.
What do you think he was trying to do?
I think that he was trying to like grab me and like do something, but I didn't let him. That's why I tried to.
Why were you yelling at your dad?
Because he was yelling at me first.
When he told you to go into your room, how'd that make you feel?
I was scared, so I just did it. I didn't say anything. I just turned to go in there.
But how'd you feel when he told you that? Hmm?
Like I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Are you the oldest daughter?
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah. And because kids think this way. Did you think maybe your dad or maybe your parents both were showing your younger sister a little bit more favoritism than you? Yeah. And that hurts, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And sometimes you kind of want to let them know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to let them know that I feel like I'm not being treated fairly.
Yeah.
You and your dad fight a lot.
Yeah, we argued.
Yeah. Um, you're 15 at the time, right?
Yeah.
Your sister's 11. Yeah. You seem like a pretty bright young lady.
Yeah.
Whether it be right or wrong, can you think of any reason why your dad might be a little bit more suspect or careful about boys you're hanging out with as opposed to your sister?
Maybe because they're older.
Mm, and what's that mean?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. That's okay. You don't have to say it. You know, right?
It was just my friend.
I get that. That's what you're telling your dad, right?
But she was also hanging out with
Hold on a second. That's what you're telling your dad.
Yeah.
When you would tell your dad that, and I'm not only a judge, I'm a dad too. So when you're telling your dad that, do you think your dad believes you?
Hmm?
That he's just a friend?
Um,
No, hold on. I'm not saying what you think. I'm saying when you tell your dad that, do you think your dad believes that?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you think he's a little bit suspicious about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably mad about that too.
And my sister hangs out with guys that are 3 years old. So it's like,
It's not fair. Right?
yeah.
Yeah, hard question, young lady. Well, let me ask this one before I ask the really hard one. Why do you think you and your dad argue?
Because I'm a lot like my mom.
You think it's because you're like your mom? You don't think you argue because you might be like him a little bit? No? Out of all the things that are unfair as you see them, out of all of that, do you think your dad does any of this because he hates you?
No,
Yeah. Why do you think he does it?
I think there's some resentment.
Of you?
Yeah.
Oh, so your dad has resentment of a 15-year-old. Tell me how that works.
I think that he has resentment of my mom.
Pardon?
I think he has resentment of my mom. And I'm a lot like her. And just always treating me.
So you think he's taking out whatever his feelings may be for your mom on you? Really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, young lady. In looking back on it, looking at it that day, do you think your dad was trying to hurt you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Let me ask it this way. Do you think on that date he was physically trying to hurt you?
I don't think.
Or, hang on. Was he physically trying, do you think he was physically trying to hurt you? Or maybe doing things that hurt your feelings?
I think that he was trying to hurt me.
Physically hurt you?
I think that's where it got, but yeah. It started that way.
Young lady, when the whole thing started with the TV that day, you two were just going at it, right? And then it kind of just was taking off from there between the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what dads and daughters do, right? Yeah. Okay. Any questions based upon the court's question?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Keisha, I want to ask you a little bit of context about your home and your parents. I know some of these questions are really personal and uncomfortable, and I'm sorry. Do your mom and your dad stay in the same bedroom?
No.
They have their own rooms?
Yeah.
Does your dad keep his room locked?
Yeah.
Where was your TV when it got taken away?
No.
Have your mom and your dad stayed in separate rooms for a long time?
Yeah.
Years? Do you hate your dad? How do you feel about him?
I love him, just disagree a lot.
Nothing further.
You have no questions, do you, Ms. Page?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Do a motion appropriate though, Your Honor.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry, Your Honor. Never mind. Strike that from the record.
You may step down. Okay, yes, lady. Thank you. Any additional witnesses for the people?
No, Your Honor. People rest.
And Your Honor, I do have a brief motion for a directed verdict as to both counts, specifically as to count 2, viewed in light most favorable to the non-moving party. The people have not introduced sufficient evidence for a reasonable fact finder to find my client guilty of the count of malicious destruction of personal property. Witness did testify that the property in question, the door, was not for personal property. Therefore, frankly, the elements have not been met, and I would ask the court to find a directed finding of not guilty as to count 2. As to count 1, I also would posit to the court that the people have not found or laid out sufficient evidence for the trier factor turn a verdict guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. As to count 1, as to my client, Mr. Bullard, would ask the court to also find a directed verdict as to count 1.
You know, count 2, I don't know if it never got communicated, we weren't intending on pursuing count 2. That was because it was joint property between the defendant as well as his wife, Ms. Bullard. That was no longer going to be pursued. I apologize that it didn't get amended on the
That
information.
I don't think was communicated.
I apologize.
All right.
So that one I'm not pursuing, so that is completely valid and a good directed verdict motion, and I will concede that. As to count 2, I think with the testimony being light most favorable to the people, a reasonable fact finder could conclude that we have met the burden, and leave it there.
As to count 2, I will grant basically by stipulation as to count 2, the malicious destruction of property. The court, in viewing the defendant's motion, could reserve its ruling, but rather than reserve its ruling is to count 1, the child abuse. In the evidence look in favor, most favorable to the non-moving party, that being the state of Michigan. The court disagrees with defense and does conclude that a reasonable fact finder could conclude, if the witness is believed, that the defendant would be guilty of child abuse in the 4th degree, and so therefore will deny the defendant's motion. Prior to closing, the court's going to take about a 5-minute recess, and I'll come back. We'll hear closing.
Is Mashunda Oliver here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning to you. This is the city of Detroit versus Mashunda Oliver, case number U71463025. Please.
Happy to 0132 for the defendant. Ms. Oliver, your name, please.
Changed. I signed that order and put it in the clerk's file. You understand that? All right. So if you'll, all right, you can do that later today if you want. Thank you. Good morning. If you'll raise your right hand, let's place you under oath. You are Joshua David Stevenson Baker. Mr. Baker, you have filed a petition to change your name as well. I am, as you know, required to ask you a few questions. Are you asking to change your name to avoid your just debts or creditors? Are you asking to change your name to avoid criminal prosecution? It's my understanding you are just wanting to change your last name to, you have a hyphenated last name and you're wanting to just change it. Is that correct? All right. So that's the reason you're changing it. Do you have an order prepared? I'm going to ask you to sign off on this by letting me have your signature right under where I'm supposed to sign. If you'll sign that, just sign your new name. All right, Mr. Baker, I have signed your order granting your name change, and you can get a copy of it a little later in the morning. Once they transmit it over to the clerk's office, then you'll be able to get a copy of it there, okay? All right, thank you. Anyone here on the In re Linda Lansing motion for fiduciary fees? All right, no one's here on that case. Good morning.
Being 26 and the youngest is only 12. Ms. Smithson will testify that on or around May 15th, 2025, this pattern continued to escalate and she was finally strong enough to step away from this abusive relationship and attempt to cut ties with her husband. In response to Ms. Smithson no longer responding to Mr. Dixon's abusive remarks, he flooded her with messages, harassed her relentlessly, and interfered with the business that she built, the same business that she relies on to support herself. He has taken critical equipment, sabotaged her operations, and has even shown up uninvited at a hotel several states away where she was trying to find safety. Even after being served with the temporary order of protection, Mr. Dixon went to her business and stole vehicles, showing a blatant disregard for this court's authority and unwillingness to stop his controlling behavior. As a result, the petitioner was forced to file an emergency motion to expand the scope of the order to include the business, which this court granted. Additionally, despite the language in the temporary order instructing Mr. Dixon to stay away from any shared residence, when Ms. Smithson was brave enough to return with a police escort to gather some of her belongings, Mr. Dixon had indeed remained in the marital home and used the opportunity to directly violate the court's order by contacting and harassing her. Mr. Dixon is currently facing criminal charges for violating the court's order. You will hear that he has threatened to teach Ms. Smithson a lesson, threatened to ruin her business, and has threatened to burn her property. And you will hear that Ms. Smithson remains afraid of further retaliation, afraid for her safety, and afraid of what he might do next. Therefore, we are requesting that this court grant this order of protection today. Thank you.
Mr. Baker, do you wish to make an opening statement? All right, Ms. Castronova, you may call your first witness. All right. Listen, if you'll come around here, we're going to ask you to come to the witness stand, raise your right hand, and let the clerk place you under oath.
Please state your full.
Sabrina Ann Smithson.
And
Ms.
this,
Smithson, we're going to ask you to speak up loudly. If you need to pull that microphone towards you, the bass will slide. So there you go.
and how do you know Mr. Barry Dixon, or Mr. David Barry Dixon?
We've been married for 8 years,
And how long has your relationship been with Mr. Dixon?
27 years.
Now, do you own a business?
I do.
What is the name of that business?
Dixon Tree Service LLC.
Is your husband a co-owner?
No,
What type of business is it?
it's a tree trimming business. We trim trees off power lines.
Does your business, is it only in the state of Tennessee? Or-
No, it's several
Yeah,
states.
this is what the county wants to know.
And what does that mean when you say just-
So if a storm comes through, like hurricanes or any kind of destruction where they need help with the lines being put back up, then we go out and help them.
Is your business your primary source of income?
Yes.
How important is that business to your financial independence?
It's very important.
Does Mr. Dixon have a separate job?
Yes, he does.
And where does he work?
Duke Energy out of Indiana.
And do the two of you have any children together?
Yes, we do.
What are their names and ages?
Connor Dixon is 25 years old. Jacob Dixon is 21 years old. Levi Dixon is 15, and Lydia Dixon is 12.
Now that we've gotten that background out of the way, I am going to turn to the specific facts that led to the filing of the order of protection. During your relationship with your husband, has he ever been physically abusive towards you?
He has.
Could you describe that for us?
When my 21-year-old was one, it was an incident where he kicked me in the back. When he was saying, he's put his hands around my neck. Just the most recent one was in Texas, probably a year ago, when he tried to kick me in a hotel room that wasn't even ours jointly.
Do you believe that he is capable of physically harming you again?
Yes.
When was the last time he laid hands on you?
It's been a couple months, 3 months ago.
Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, he was calling me a whore and a slut or whatever, and he physically was grabbing at me, just vulgarly. That's the last time.
And has he ever threatened to harm you?
Yes.
What would he say to threaten you?
He didn't specifically say what he was going to do, but he would just say, you know, if I didn't answer the phone, he was going to come where I was at, or
Has he ever threatened to harm you with a weapon?
a long time ago he did.
What did he say?
There was a question about our son that he said, if it wasn't ours, he was going to shoot me in the stomach with a shotgun.
Aside from direct threats of harm, does he verbally abuse you?
Every day.
And what does he say?
Everything you could think of: slut, whore, bitch, I'm stupid. Manipulate situations where I can't complete tasks. just, it's constant.
So in your petition, you stated that things escalated around mid-May. Could you tell us about what happened?
So we got called out on a storm to Oklahoma, and Alabama first, and then that one was canceled. So I chose to leave and go retrieve a bucket truck in Texas and take it to Louisiana where we have a contract there. And we got a call to Oklahoma in the process of that. And he left to go on that storm, took my name off the roster, and left my 12-year-old daughter at home by herself with another child that was 15 and my son also that's 15. And I didn't know about it until the next day. So they were left alone.
What actions did he take that made you decide not to return home?
Well, he would call and just scream and yell at me saying, what you're doing is stupid, it's irrelevant. You don't need to be doing that. Yet I'm trying to save a contract that's at Clico in Louisiana. And I'm doing what I know I should do or what I think I should do. And I just got tired of him just telling me how stupid I was and ignorant, and I just quit answering his phone calls.
So after you stopped answering his phone calls, did he continue to try to contact you?
Yes,
How often?
all the time, like constantly.
And in what ways would he try to contact you?
Calling, texting, having somebody else say, hey, tell her to call me.
Did you ever ask him to stop contacting you?
Yeah,
And what was his response?
it's just the same thing.
Now, you mentioned that he would text you. How often were those text messages?
Daily, hourly, down to the minutes.
Would you recognize some of those texts if I showed them to you today?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Smithson, I've just handed you a copy of some texts that date from July 3rd of 2025 through July 10th of 2025. Do you recognize those text messages?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Who are these texts between?
Me and my husband, David Dixon.
So are the incoming texts on this thread from your husband?
Yes.
And are the outgoing texts from you?
Yes.
And is this a fair and accurate copy of the text messages that he has sent you between July 3rd and July 10th?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move this into evidence as Exhibit 1.
Go ahead.
Ms. Smithson, now I know we've got about 17 pages of text in front of us. Out of all of these pages, are you aware of how many times Mr. Dixon texted you?
About 200.
And how many times did you text him back?
3.
And are those texts highlighted?
Yes.
So turning to July 4th, that first highlighted text, what do you tell him?
Please calm down.
Now turning to July 5th, the next highlighted text is a text that he sent. Could you read that out loud for us?
Which one?
July 5th at about 1 p.m.
What was the first question you had about July the 4th?
What was her text to him?
Okay, and what was her answer?
She told him to please calm down. So looking at that July 5th at 1 p.m., what did he tell you?
He said, well, you fucked me over, so I'm going to burn your shit. Every fucking thing, fuck me and fuck you.
And you messaged him back on July 7th. What did you say?
I just said, what?
And then turning to that last highlighted text is on July 8th. What did you state to him?
Please stop contacting me.
And are the rest of these texts all from him?
Yes.
So in between July 3rd and July 10th, could you summarize the majority of these texts that he was sending you?
They're just degrading me and just being pretty mean.
And was he calling you names?
Yes.
What was he calling you?
Bitch, slut, whore, stupid, ignorant.
And when did you file your petition for your order of protection?
On my birthday, July 9th.
Now, after you left the home in May, has Mr. Dixon stalked you?
He has,
How so?
just through the job site and through asking people to contact me that knows me like my aunt.
Has he ever shown up uninvited to where you were staying?
Yes, the incident in Oklahoma.
What happened in Oklahoma?
So I wasn't answering his phone calls. And so he left me voicemail stating if I did not answer his calls.
Counsel, can we establish a time frame for this incident?
Yes, Your Honor. When was this Oklahoma incident?
I believe it was the ended part of May. I don't exactly have an idea right now of that date, but I think it's around the end of May.
Okay. And you mentioned that he was leaving you voicemails. What was he stating on those voicemails?
He just said if I didn't answer the phone, he was going to come and be where I was at, and that I would regret it, be sorry for it, whatever. And he drove overnight and showed up there at 6 a.m, banging on somebody else's door, because he didn't know exactly where I was at, but he knew what area I was in, because my sons were with, or one of my sons were with me on that storm. And I called the front desk of that camp resort, and they called the police.
Would you recognize some of those voicemails if we played them today?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to try to hold this up to the microphone, but if you need me to replay it.
We have a means by which you can play it through the audio system if you want to. Officer Tyler there can assist you if you want.
I do in my bag. I can get it out if we need it, but I'll just try to play it.
Call Tammy to ask her if you can pick it up. All you gotta do is pick it up, and I'll turn around.
Pull that microphone down closer. That microphone will bend.
It's gonna be all bad. It's gonna fuck me and it's gonna fuck you. And there ain't no sense in it. Just pick up the fucking phone. All you gotta do. And you don't have to call Tammy to ask her if you can pick it up. You can just do it all on your own. You don't have to follow Tammy. Every fucking move.
Who was that we were just hearing?
My husband.
So Sabrina with Dixon Tree Service. You be sure you tell Levi and Lydia what a fucking slut you are and what a motherfucker you are too. Don't just fucking sit and tell them about me, you cocksucker. And Tammy don't love them fucking kids, that lying slut. She's fucking paid by you, paid to fuck me over, you piece of shit.
How many voicemails did he leave you?
I don't know, 7, 8, I don't know.
Was this the type of tone that your husband would often use when speaking with you?
Here lately, yes, most of the time.
And he referenced Levi and Lydia during that last voicemail, and those are your minor children?
Yes, ma'am.
How did those voicemails make you feel?
Just go away.
How many doors did he knock on before he got to your door?
He knocked on mine, I just didn't answer it.
And how did that make you feel when he tracked you down and knocked on your door when you were all the way over in Oklahoma?
Just sick to my stomach. I never know what he's gonna do.
Why didn't you open the door?
Because I never know what he's gonna do. You never know. There's a reservation there for me on whether he's gonna do something to people around or myself or.
Now, you mentioned the business earlier. How did your husband interfere with your ability to run that business?
It's just taking equipment off job sites, out of locked gates, because he manipulated the utility in order to let him in there to get the truck by taking him out to eat. And so he grabbed a truck.
So what types of things has he stolen from your business?
70-foot bucket trucks, shippers, excavators, dump trailers, haul trailers, side-by-sides, chainsaws, ropes, gear, keys.
And does he use any of that for the work that he does on his business?
No,
So all of that equipment is just equipment for Dixon Tree Services
that's
LLC?
correct.
What kind of damage did that interference cause of him stealing all of those things from the business?
I had to replace it at the time to keep work going, so guys didn't lose their jobs. And it didn't interfere with their lives, because mine was getting interfered. I try not to have theirs get interfered. So I replaced it by renting it, purchasing it, and I would do that in any way, shape, or form I could do to keep the work going.
And why do you believe he was stealing these things from your business?
Would appear to call for speculation on her part. Sustain the objection.
Has he ever told
Next
you?
time you object, if you'll be so courteous as to stand up, there's a microphone right there on the table. You can do that as well. So, I understand you look very comfortable, Mr. Baker, but I hate to disturb you, but if you will at least have the courtesy to do that, please.
Has he ever told you why he was stealing things from your business?
To get my attention, that's what he would say.
Ms. Smithson, I've just handed you a text message. Is this a text message that you've received?
Yes,
And who is this text message from?
my husband.
And is this a fair and accurate copy of the texts that your husband sent you?
Yes.
Now, what is that date at the top there of that first group of text messages?
June 17th.
And what, will you read those texts out loud for us?
Pick up the phone and I won't go get trailers. If you don't, LOL, if you don't, I start getting them, eventually you will have to talk. What does it take to get you on the phone? At the end of this, we will neither one have nothing, probably bankrupt. It doesn't need to be that way.
And that next text that he sent the next day, what does he say?
I know you and Tammy built it. Let's see if y'all can hang on for the ride, LOL. There will not be a Dixon tree by next week, mark my words, and tell Cliff he can buy the Ram for 39, LOL.
So how did these texts make you feel?
Like whether I should call him or not, just so I could stop the craziness from happening.
And when he states, pick it up or I won't go get the trailers, what trailers is he referring to?
There are equipment trailers, what hauls our machines or equipment from job site to job site.
So how would him stealing the trailers impact your business?
Well, he did take them and I had to go buy new ones.
And when you have to buy new ones, how much does that cost?
It depends on the size of the trailer, I guess, anywhere from 13,000 to 20,000.
Ms. Smithson, I've just handed you another screenshot of a text message. Is this a text message that you've received?
Yes,
Who sent this text message?
my husband.
And what is that date there on that text?
June 22nd.
Did you make an exhibit of the June 17th text message? You were going to make them collective?
I was going to make it a collective exhibit, Your Honor. So that June 22nd text, would you read it out loud for us?
I called Armando yesterday and I gave him equipment back. I only wanted to get your attention to listen. I'm going to give you your Ram 3500 also, but I want my F350 back, even trade. I will put Dingo beside Bucket in field whenever he wants to pick up stuff. Does this work for you? Hello?
And what's that next text that he sends?
Answer the fucking phone.
Did he give you that equipment back?
No.
Your
He
Honor,
put it back in the field.
Your Honor, at this time, I would make this a collective exhibit too.
All right.
So he started stealing equipment based off these texts in mid-June, is that right?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, currently, how much of your equipment is in his possession?
At this moment, not as much. He's given most of it back, but right now he has a truck I rented that he took off the job site just 10 days ago.
I'm sorry, what was it?
A rental truck that I rented from Custom Trucks, and he still has that truck now. And the police would not allow me to report it stolen.
So before we talk more about that instance, overall, how has his interference with your business impacted your business financially?
It's been a pretty good hit to it.
Can you give
About
us a rough estimate?
around $150,000.
Has his interference impacted your workers' ability to continue their jobs?
Yes.
You mentioned, what date, just again for that timeline, what date did you file that order of protection?
July the 9th.
Are you aware of what day your husband was served?
July the 11th.
And after being served, are you aware of what he did?
He took that bucket truck that I rented from Custom Trucks.
So after being served with the order of protection, he went to your business and stole business equipment.
That's correct.
Did his actions cause your workers to contact you?
Yes,
In your opinion, was he trying to contact you indirectly?
yes,
Sustained.
Did you call the police because of his actions?
the people on the job site did. I can't call the police when I'm not there on job sites, so they did.
Would the police arrest him for violating the order of protection?
No,
Why not?
said it was a civil matter.
In response, did you file an emergency motion to extend the order of protection to specifically protect your business?
Yes,
Was that motion granted?
yes,
Why did you feel like it was necessary to amend that order of protection?
because I can't keep trying to hang on to all this equipment and everybody be working and it just literally drives up to it and takes it.
So on July 11th, when he stole that truck from the business, how did it impact your workers that day?
It stirred everybody up. Had one upset, crying, one mad. Can't just, it disturbed the entire day.
Were they able to finish the job?
No, we still haven't.
And you said that you were renting that truck that he stole. How much a day, if you're aware, does that truck go for?
I know weekly, but it's around 5,100 a week.
5,100 a week, and you haven't had it since the 11th.
Have not had it for 10 days.
Did you return to the marital residence after you were informed that Mr. Dixon was served with the order of protection?
I did.
Were the police with you?
No,
Was your husband still at the property when you returned?
when I pulled in the driveway, yes, he was there. And I just went to the end of the driveway and he approached my car and as I called them,
You say you called them. Who did you call?
the police, and so I stayed in the car until they got there. And I recorded a conversation in the meantime.
So did Mr. Dixon attempt to contact you while you were there at the residence?
Yes,
What did he say to you?
a lot. Whole demeanor changed to, I love you, don't do this. It was just a different direction that he approached that at. And I would tell him, you don't love me, you're doing all this.
Did you exit your vehicle during this conversation?
I did not.
Did you stay in your vehicle while he was trying to contact you?
Yes, I did.
How did this interaction make you feel?
Aggravated, upset, scared, just every emotion as usual.
Was he arrested following this interaction?
He was.
To your knowledge, is he currently out on bail?
I guess, yeah.
Do you believe that your husband continues to pose a threat to your safety and your livelihood?
Yes.
Are you afraid that he will harm you or your property if this court does not order him to do otherwise?
Yes.
Are you asking this court to grant you a full order of protection to ensure your safety?
Yes.
Are you also asking that the court incorporate that specific language protecting your business?
Yes.
Do you believe that it's necessary to include your minor children on this order of protection?
Yes.
Has your husband ever directly harmed your minor children?
No.
Has he threatened to harm them?
No. Verbally.
What is,
He just said he was verbally going to tell them how horrible I am and tell them things that do not need to be, they don't need to be involved in this at all. So that's the only reason why.
so do you believe that specific order restricting his language to not discuss this matter with the children would be sufficient to protect them
Yes,
and to not verbally degrade you to the children?
right.
Are you asking that the court award you your attorney's fee incurred in bringing this petition?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you'd like the court to know that is the reason behind you seeking this order of protection today?
I just want to live my life and be left alone and just be at peace of some sort.
Further questions, Your Honor?
All right, Mr. Baker will be able to cross-examine us.
Start going sideways when your husband thought that you were running around with Mr. Wells?
I'm sorry?
This start to go sideways when
This
your
has been
husband,
sideways for 27 years.
well, apparently it wasn't sideways enough to file for a divorce until now.
Yes, I've tried to leave several times, sir.
Well, what stopped you?
Him
How can he stop you from filing a divorce?
stopped me from leaving because he is very controlling.
Well, let me back up. My question was, this current situation, all this drama started when your husband, thought you were running around with Mr. Wales, correct?
No, sir, this incident started because he left my 12-year-old daughter with a 15-year-old boy that did not live at the residence and did not contact anybody to tell them that. So I was upset with him for doing that and leaving them there by themselves.
So you got upset with him about who your daughter's with, and that triggered a divorce?
No, it triggered it triggered this whole incident, sir.
Oh, okay,
The divorce has been long coming.
okay. Well, were you having an affair with Mr. Wales?
No, sir.
Okay. Did your husband think that?
I
Did he tell you that?
have text messages saying he doesn't believe that. They're rumors. They're
Okay,
in the paper.
okay. But you did go to Florida with him, correct?
No, sir, I went to
didn't-
Texas with
With
him to pick up the bucket truck.
With Mr. Wales?
Yes, sir.
And
And Mike Winters as well.
Is that a Freightliner bucket truck?
That's correct.
And I guess you claim that to be yours, correct?
Claim that to be mine. It's a rental.
All right, who rented it?
Sabrina Ann Smithson with Dixon Tree Service. LLC.
That's the name going to be on the receipt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, now, the other bucket trucks that you claim, the Freightliners, are you familiar with the 2023 Freightliner bucket truck?
I'm familiar with every single one of them, sir.
Who owns that equipment?
Sabrina, Dixon Tree Service, LLC.
Okay. See these two sales invoices for these bucket trucks?
Yes, sir.
$200,000 apiece, correct?
Almost, yes.
Who were
After
they
taxes.
sold to?
There, it says David Barry Dixon, right?
Sold and delivered to Mr. Dixon,
So the
correct?
2023 model truck was purchased through Dixon Tree Service LLC, right? Yes.
Doesn't say that on that form. Show me where it says Dixon Tree Service LLC on that sales invoice.
So does this say that it's paid for, sir?
Ma'am, you can't ask questions. You just need to answer his questions. Then your lawyer can clarify anything
quote.
that needs to be done.
This is a quote.
So when it says sales invoice, that's a quote.
Yes, when you have the paid invoice, it will say.
Judge, I'd
different.
like to move that in as if it's Exhibit 1.
It's not Exhibit 1, this would be Exhibit 3.
Same thing.
All right. Judge, may I have a moment?
You may?
I've been with Mr. Wells along with 100 other men. A lot of places, sir. I work with a bunch of men.
Ms. Smithson, did you and Mr. Wells ever do drugs together?
No, sir.
Did you used to do drugs?
Have I done drugs? Absolutely.
When's the last time you used cocaine and methamphetamine?
Years.
Years ago?
Yeah.
No further questions, Judge.
Redirect. Ma'am, while she's coming to the podium, let me ask you a couple of questions. You have two children that are minors. Are the two older children still living at home?
The 21-year-old recently moved into our horse barn because we redone half of it as a little house.
But when you have to travel, where are these minor children?
When I'm traveling,
Yes.
well, he either keeps them or my friend, Tammy, or my daughter. I have an older daughter.
That's the 25-year-old?
No, my oldest daughter is not ours together.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so you have arrangements made for the child. How often are you having to travel?
I go 3 to 4 storms a year.
Okay, but as far as the foreseeable future, do you have a trip that you're going to have to make?
We don't know. God decides that on storms.
So this is a tree and you clear it right away and that sort of thing?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
what the business is?
Yes, for Dixon Electric
All right.
here.
And as far as that contract for Dixon Electric, does it require you to go out of the area for Dixon Electric, or are those different jobs?
No, sir. There's contracts that are held through different utilities.
Okay. All right. When's the last time that Mr. Dixon has actually seen these minor children?
He has not seen them in a month and a half.
Okay, was that because of this order of protection, or was there some other reason?
No, there's not other.
Where is he living?
He lives in our home,
Okay. And where are you living?
in an Airbnb,
Okay. And then the children
are living with me.
are living with you? All right. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So on these invoices, that Exhibit 3 that was passed up to you, was this the final invoice that you received?
I'm not really sure about, we've bought them within 3 years. And we have like 10 buckets sitting in the lot. So I believe we have two 2023 bucket trucks. This particular one is still owed on. So I'm not sure about that particular, I know which truck it is, but I don't know the details of that, so.
So when you were purchasing these trucks, what were they being used for?
To clear right-of-ways.
So for your business?
Yes.
Was the business paying the $200,000 outright?
Not particularly on this truck. I think I'd have to ask Tammy, because I'm not sure if this one's the one that's owed on or not. But this is the 2023 model. So when the business was started in 2021, the end of that business year, I had no established credit whatsoever. So he did inquire, and he is friends with the custom truck fella, so.
But who ultimately was paying for these trucks?
The business.
No further questions.
And the business was started when?
October of 2021.
Okay. Mr. Becker, do you have any other questions?
Touched on that point. You didn't have the credit. Mr. Dixon had to get your equipment for you, correct?
At the beginning, yes, sir.
Because you didn't own the equipment. He owned the equipment.
Yeah, we stayed home. I have children. So I was a stay-at-home mom, so no, I didn't have, he worked. Yeah, that's how that works.
Right. So that's the truth of the matter. Mr. Dixon owns the equipment.
No, sir.
No further questions.
He has to pay for it in order to own it.
All right. Anything else? Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. That's an overview. You may call it. You have any other witnesses? All right, call your next witness. All right. How brief is it?
Are there any witnesses or defense?
No, Your Honor, I did discuss this again with my client and he did, and I advised him of his absolute right to testify on his own behalf or to remain silent. And at this time, I will not be calling him or anyone else as a witness.
Very good. Closing arguments.
Your Honor, viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the people, excuse me, the people do believe we've sustained our burden and ask to return a verdict on single count of child abuse. Otherwise, I will rest on the proofs. Thank you, Your Honor.
Closing.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we're here today because of a father setting some ground rules for some of his teenage children and trying to enforce them. We've all here been teenagers before, myself not too long ago, if dare I say it, and we've all had arguments with our
You're
parents.
saying that's in the,
Pardon me, Your
you're
Honor?
saying that because why? You want to
I have
compare that to when I was last a teenager?
probably.
Never mind, Miss Fate, go on.
And so, as Your Honor was also a teenager not too long ago as well. Maybe even at the same time, but I do not know that. I've had arguments with my parents over rules they've set over the years. I believe many people, it's a common human experience. We've heard the testimony today that Miss Bullard wanted her TV back, and my client wasn't going to give it back for whatever reasons. I'm not going to comment on anyone's parenting, whether or not a teenager has a right to a TV, whether they do not, whether they have a right to go to their friends or not. My client was just setting some ground rules for minor children that they happen to disagree with. They did have a verbal argument. And I will agree that they did have a verbal argument that day regarding the rules. However, my client never intentionally laid his hands on Ms. Bullard in any way. We did hear the testimony, and Ms. Bullard testified to the fact that Mr. Bullard grabbed her arms. I am not stating that that happened or did not. What I will say is that she did not at any point testify that Mr. Bullard touched her neck in any way. She did not testify that he grabbed her neck, that he tried to grab her neck, that he touched it, even in passing. There was no testimony or evidence presented that he purposely or intentionally touched her neck or caused that scratch on her neck. Candidly, because we did see a photo of a scratch on Ms. Bullard's neck, I will acquiesce that she had one on that day, and that picture was taken by the police. We don't know how we got it, or how she got it. Candidly, I don't know how grabbing of the arms could lead to that scratch on the neck. My client is not guilty of this offense of child abuse in the 4th degree. He is the parent or guardian of Miss Asia Bullard. He did have care custody of her that day. He did not knowing intentionally harm her, injure her, or put her in a position where at which she could be harmed. They did have a verbal argument. She was angry about that. When she talked to her older brother later that day, as Ms. Bullard testified, he encouraged her to call the police, which is what she did. When the police arrived, she declined medical attention, and Mr. Bullard was not there at that time. We don't know what investigation the police did to get his side of the story. That was not presented today. I am asking the court to return a verdict of not guilty, as people have failed to meet their burden that my client intentionally harmed Ms. Bullard in any way or caused that injury to her neck. Thank you, Your Honor.
And just briefly in rebuttal, one thing, I do think that Miss Asia did state that the defendant scratched her as seen in Exhibit 3. And I do ask the court return the verdict of guilty. Thank you.
In this case, and I will refer to her as Aisha because that's how she wanted me to be referred to. I listened very closely to her testimony in this case. Surprisingly, well, not, I won't say surprising. She was very candid in her answers. I'm not sure entirely, also, as I'm looking at her and listening to her testify. I feel bad for her. And I feel bad for her because, quite frankly, I think I haven't heard from Mr. Bullard, or I haven't heard from Mom either. But I think both of them are failing her. And I say that because I think it's an interesting thing about kids. All they want to do is be loved. That's really all they want. And I think she's, frankly, as I understand the circumstance, being forced into a circumstance, regrettably, to choose sides, and she doesn't know why. Some of the unfairness that she talks about is that there's that unfairness of some young man who is just a friend, and I can only imagine what that's all about. Probably not necessarily the reality from either perspective, but dads sometimes react that way with their daughters. You know, young lady, one thing that you're going to have to kind of get used to regarding anyone that you bring into your life is, and I'm sure it's going to happen, same thing with Mom. You're going to see them. They're going to see them. They're going to make an immediate assessment. And then that's where it is. They're going to have to either prove themselves worthy or not. It's just like. But on this day, and I asked some very specific questions of Asia, and I do appreciate her honest answers and appreciate at the end that she didn't hate her father. There are probably things that are going on in that household, things in the world she doesn't quite understand. You know, she's only 16, so the only world she experiences is what's around her. Sometimes also the argument that parents and kids are having isn't really about what it is. That sometimes happens with all human beings. It's probably about something much deeper. But as you listen to Asia, she was talking. Dad says X. She wants something else to happen. They begin yelling at each other. And as they begin yelling at each other, it begins to just sort of escalate. Asia said it best herself. When I asked, do you think your dad was trying to hurt you? And she said that he wasn't, that they were yelling at each other. But the one thing that she then pointed out was it got to where it got to. Don't think when he got to that doorway, it almost becomes this showdown at the door with both sides not wanting the other to win or leave with the upper hand. Sometimes when you have a child that is trying to say something, whether screaming, yelling, doing whatever, because I guess the big people in the room one has to sort of step back, kind of realize, or kind of try to figure out what it's all about. Dad said something that was interesting, but that wasn't satisfactory to Asia. Especially about the boy and about everything else, that he was going to come back, he was going to see his mother, he was going to come back, and he was going to talk to her. On the surface, that seems kind of reasonable. And I guess if one were second guessing, maybe there should have been a great pause and saying, maybe I need to talk with you now instead of going. Because maybe that's what my child needs. I'm not gonna sit there and second guess it. There. Sometimes that's what has to happen. I also don't think, well, Asia did what she did. I don't think really Asia relished the fact of having to sit here and try to testify against her dad. I don't think she liked it. I don't think she should, where one can help but be there in that circumstance. Say this. I'll say it may be inappropriate. Mom and Dad, you've got to do better. You just have to do better. You have a wonderful, beautiful daughter that was up here testifying, and the two of you have to do better. She should never think, either because it's true or either because it's something placed in her head, that the reason Dad is so hard on me is because I'm like Mom. First of all, I've never seen a child that is just one parent. Never seen it in my life, and doubt I ever will. They're part of both of you. And both of you need to acknowledge that she has those parts. Part of that yelling going back and forth between daughter and dad was because they probably are a lot more alike than they want to even acknowledge at times. She was going to try to give as good as she was trying to give, and that was just going to go. And then it was a point at which who's going to win or try to win. You guys have to do better. If it's true that Dad treats her a certain way because you're like Mom, well, that's something Dad has to get over and realize that's his little girl regardless. If that's not the case, but something being planted because of the dysfunctional dynamic that may be going on in that home, planted in her head by Mom, then Mom, you have to let that go. You two don't have to like each other, but you gotta love that little girl. Both of you. Prove this charge of child abuse 4th degree, and I'll just skip to the elements. Clearly had custody control. But the defendant knowingly or intentionally committed an act that under the circumstances posed an unreasonable risk of harm to the child, or did something in a reckless fashion that caused that to the child. I don't believe that people have sustained their burden of showing that by any stretch of the imagination. I don't believe that, based upon the testimony before me, that the defendant's conduct was by any means reckless. and by her own testimony, Asia admitted that the acts in and of themselves were intentional in terms of what was going on. Now, to the extent also that one might believe that they were intentional acts, the concept of parental discipline, that parents are certainly allowed to discipline their children within reasonable limits. Given the circumstances as described by Asia, the force on the door, I noticed that while there may have been a mark to the neck, I'm not thoroughly convinced that that came from the actions of Dad, and certainly not any intentional act. The one thing that was missing, which would have seemed to have been there had he been in just this rage of anger, would have certainly been marks to her arms. I have no proof of that because she's very clear that he grabbed her arm. And if that was his first grab, there certainly would have been marks, bruises, something there when the police arrived. Given all of the circumstances and the totality of the circumstances, it's not up to the defendant to prove that his acts were reasonable, but more for the people to show that his acts were not reasonable. The people have not met their burden in that respect regarding the actions of the defendant on that day, ultimately ending up at the door. Asia's pushing on one side, Dad's pushing on another side of the door. I think that there might be differences in that, but it certainly wasn't shown to the court that this was not an exercise in a certain respect of parental discipline with no intent by her own statement that this defendant was intending to harm. And so for those reasons, the court would find that the people have not sustained their burden, find the defendant not guilty of count one child abuse in the fourth degree.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please state your full name for the record.
My name is Tammy Sue Bird,
And Ms. Bird, where are you currently employed?
for Dixon Tree Service LLC
How long have you been employed by Dixon Tree Services LLC?
since December of '24.
And what is your role or title there?
Accounting manager,
Who is your direct supervisor?
Sabrina Smithson.
Do you know Mr. Dixon?
I do.
How do you know him?
I have been friends with Sabrina since the fall of 2011. Our boys played ball together, so that's how I met her, and then I met her husband in the same way.
Have you ever personally observed Mr. Dixon interact with Ms. Smithson at work?
Yes.
Could you describe the way that he would speak to her?
It was very demanding, very controlling. If she wasn't following a path that he didn't agree with, he would redirect her and tell her that it was not appropriate or she should do something different.
Did he ever raise his voice?
Yes,
Did he ever use profanity?
he has.
Do you recall any specific instances where he verbally abused her?
I do. We were at her house, actually. We were in the hot tub together, just relaxing after we'd had a really long day. He came outside and wanted to talk business while we were relaxing. We were discussing kind of the plans on how we were trying to slow down awarding new contracts to anybody because it was overwhelming, right? And the amount of investment that it was going to take to make this happen. He piped in and said, no, that's not what we should do. You should do something completely different. We need to keep going after more contracts. And she said, I don't agree with that, and that's not the direction we need to go. He said, and he raised his voice, he said, you don't tell me what to do. I tell you what to do. And she immediately got quiet and got up out of the hot tub and walked out. So, and I know that maybe that is not the worst case, but there were other instances that this continued to happen on. When the first Oklahoma storm, because there was two of them, one in May, one right at the end of May, and he was trying to reach her while she was traveling, and he was very upset, and he called me and said, you need to make her answer the phone. I said, I can't make her do anything. She thinks and does her own thing. And he said, well, you tell her if she doesn't answer that phone that she needs an ass beating, is what he said to me on the phone. And so I was on vacation at the time with my sons. So I told him that I just could not continue to have those conversations, right? So I hung up at that point.
Was that the only time that you've heard Mr. Dixon threaten to verbally or threaten to physically abuse Ms. Smithson?
No, he came the day before I went to North Carolina. He came to my house. He was very upset that day. It was June the 3rd. He was kind of pacing back and forth in there, and he was very frustrated because he had not been able to get her to answer the phone. I did not know her reasons for not answering the phone because she was not telling me at that point either. All I knew is that she said, I'm just not talking to him right now. I did not have all the details at that moment. And again, he was like, he just started, he's like, you don't know what it's like. You need to convince her that we need to have a divorce. And I want all the rental houses, and she can keep her business, and I will stay out of it, but we don't get along anymore. I'm tired of this. You don't understand. She's a slut. I didn't even know if one of those kids were mine. And he was like, she just runs around. And he's like, honestly, he's like, she just needs a good ass whooping. And I was like, my husband was on the other side of the door. And I also have a camera in the office as well. So they were hearing what was happening in the house as he was in my office in the garage.
Would you ever, I'll strike that. Based on your observations, seeing Mr. Dixon interact with Ms. Smithson, when he was verbally abusive, how did she appear to you?
A little broken.
Did she ever seem afraid?
She did. I was probably more afraid for her than she was. But that's just my concern for her.
Now, you work for the business. Are you aware as to whether Mr. Dixon has ownership of this business?
I'm not aware.
Does he have any formal titles with the business?
He does not.
So he's not like the CEO, he's not the president, nothing like that?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Daniel, leave the witness.
Can you?
I can elaborate if that's okay.
Sure.
So I've participated and supported her on multiple occasions prior to becoming an employee of this business. A year and a half ago, I came up and spent some time with them and said, hey, I understand that this is her business, but if everybody's going to participate, people should have roles and responsibilities. And it was very clear at that time to me that he wanted no role or responsibility in that because there was potentially a conflict of interest with his current employer. So that was my understanding from that point, that he would not have a title, and that he would only support her and help guide her if she had questions or needs. But there was never an official title or anything that was wanted more than that. And then he has expressed to me on several occasions that the reason that myself and a couple of other people were hired was to allow him to move on and not have to support as needed in any way.
Have you witnessed Mr. Dixon interfere with the business?
Yes.
How would he interfere?
The biggest concern has been most recently, right, was the removal of equipment. It put our guys at a disadvantage. We had to take weeks off here and there because equipment was missing. When it was returned, there was nothing on the trucks, so the trucks are fully stocked with supplies. When they were returned, there was nothing left on the trucks. So the guys had to repurchase all of their saws, all of their supplies in order to work day to day. It was a week, sometimes 2 weeks before the equipment was returned, usually triggered by some interaction that she would give in to him, right? And she would call him, and there was a promise as long as she called him every day, he would not take any more equipment. So she started that process just to get the guys back working because they were not getting paid.
Can you break down that timeline a little bit for us if you're able?
Sure. So initially it was June, like I said, June the 3rd is when I left my house. When she went to Oklahoma, it was June the 7th. By June the 11th was when she finally told him, you know, that she wasn't going to keep responding to him. And by June the 13th is when he showed up in Oklahoma and started taking keys. I only know because I was on the phone with a police officer, right? So I was given a call that morning on the 13th, and the police officer was saying that he was showing that David had showed up and he was showing proof of ownership of the business and was allowing him to take keys away from the employees that were there on site working. So at that point, she called me. I was on the phone with the police officer sharing with him the articles of organization, showing her as a single member LLC, and also taking copies of titles in order to show that the titles were in the name of the business.
So the titles of these vehicles that he was taking, they were not in his name?
Not all of them, no. There are a couple that were in his name. As again, Sabrina mentioned that she did not have the credit when this business started. So he utilized his credit to finance the trucks. The business paid for those payments. And then the business continued to make those payments until they were paid off, or they're still paying for them at this moment.
Once the vehicles were paid off, were the parties transferring the ownership of the vehicles to the business?
Yes, that was the agreement between the two of them.
Are you aware of how Mr. Dixon's actions have financially impacted the business?
Yes, we have been doing some analysis on some of the costs that have been incurred from not being able to work. So some lost billing, as well as some of the lost wages, because we did pay some of these guys because it was not their fault that the equipment was taken. And they have families to support. So we did pay some of them, especially on the day the equipment was taken. We continued to pay them through the day. So they did not have a loss of wages.
Are you able to give us an estimate of how much you believe Mr. Dixon has financially harmed the business since June?
Yes, since for the purchase of new equipment, lost billing and wages, it's around $220,000 right now.
Now, you mentioned that he's contacted you several times regarding Ms. Smithson. Has he ever threatened you?
Not directly. I know that he threatened me through her messages because we were together when she was receiving them.
How often has he tried to contact you in order to contact Ms. Smithson?
Since the 1st of June, none.
How has Mr. Dixon's actions affected the workplace?
Everybody is very nervous. I would say a little hesitant and scared. I can express that because I talked to them.
When there's an objection, you need to be quiet and let me rule on the objection. I'll sustain the objection as to the present question. You can rephrase your questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have you lost any employees as a result of Mr. Dixon's actions?
Not yet.
Well, if she knows, I mean, it may be a situation where some employee said, I'm quitting because of the actions of Mr. Dixon. So I'm going to overrule the objection and let her answer the question. If she gives an answer that's inadmissible, then you can renew your objection.
Just to re-ask that question, have any employees quit or threatened to quit because of Mr. Dixon's actions?
They have not quit, but a couple of them have been nervous, but they have not left at this moment.
Do you believe that if Mr. Dixon's actions continue, that employees will begin to quit?
Sustained.
Your Honor, if I may, she can testify to a rationally based perception of these business operations.
You're asking her that if he continues involving in this, will that have, I mean, it does seem to me you're asking her to project the future based on what she believes, right? So would that not be subjective?
In a sense of, as she has personal knowledge of these individuals, if they have informed her that they will quit if this continues, I think that is based on her rationally based perception.
All right, I'll if you will, please, I'm going to allow you to ask the question, but it's going to have to be based upon a foundation of how she would have this information.
Have any employees informed you that if this continues, they will quit? Your Honor, I'm not using it for the truth of the matter that it asserts. I'm using it rather for the effect on the listener and how she believes this is going to financially impact the business.
Overruled, I'll allow it for that reason.
Can you ask again? I'm sorry.
Absolutely, no problem. Have any employees informed you that if this continues, they will quit?
They have, only 2 of them have expressed that concern. Can I elaborate on something or no?
We have enough on that, thank
Okay.
you. Based off of what you've personally witnessed, do you believe Ms. Smithson has a reason to be afraid of Mr. Dixon?
I do.
Repeat your question.
Based on what you have personally witnessed, do you believe Ms. Smithson has reason to be afraid of Mr. Dixon?
Overruled, I think she's making an observation about what she's observed. If this is based on her own personal observations, then she can make a statement about whether there is just cause for her to be in fear. So overrule the objection.
I do, from being with her as she has received the threats, and then as well as Mr. Dixon's comments to me personally.
No further questions for this witness.
Mr. Baker, you may cross-examine.
Yes, sir.
Who landed the majority of these contracts for the company?
I can't answer that for you because I wasn't always involved.
Mr. Dixon did land some contracts, correct?
He has helped with these contracts. I'm not denying that. I don't think anybody is.
All right, and then you said that there was equipment missing off these trucks, correct? Who paid for that equipment?
Dixon Tree Service LLC.
So the chainsaws and stuff was not bought by Mr. Dixon?
I have receipts where the company is purchasing them and credit card statements.
Okay. Well, do you know which particular chainsaws that were taken for those trucks?
Well, there's multiple chainsaws. I don't have all the serial numbers.
That's my point. You don't know which one were taken, so you don't know who owned what.
I do know when they were put on those trucks.
Do you know the serial numbers of that equipment?
They will be on the receipts.
Would be on the equipment.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay. So how do you know which piece of equipment was taken?
Because it's no longer on the truck. Each truck had a specific set of equipment. We had receipts showing which parts were put on those trucks, and we labeled it and we track it that way. When the trucks were taken and they were returned, there was no equipment, no supplies on those trucks when the trucks were returned.
Okay, so you have an asset tracking list?
I have a list of assets, yes, sir.
Well, that's not what I'm asking. Asset tracking list, where the equipment is, where it's at, when it was acquired.
Only for the last several months. Before
Several.
that, it was not being tracked.
It was not being tracked, so it was prepared in anticipation of litigation. Would that be fair?
No, it was not.
Okay, when was this equipment on this bucket truck that you claim to be missing, when was it purchased?
In April.
In April. Was that before or after you started tracking?
In April, we started the tracking of it, and we started stocking the trucks because we had supplies that had been broken or had been missing prior to that. So we started creating a list of asset tracking as we were purchasing the new assets.
Okay, now I want to go back to the situation where you said that the police had come out and they had let Mr. Dixon take some equipment, correct?
Yes, sir, that was in Oklahoma. I was not there, I was on the phone.
Then why did you testify to all of this? You testified that he was showing, you showed proof of ownership of business and he showed ownership of some equipment and they give him the keys to his equipment?
I was on the phone with the police officer, and he
Oh.
asked me specifically if I had proof of ownership for Dixon Tree Service LLC for Sabrina Smithson. So I sent them over a copy of the articles of organization. And then he asked me if we had any titles for the equipment that the keys were being taken from. And I shared that with him as well while I was on the phone.
But Mr. Dixon was allowed to take the equipment that was his, correct?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I hung up after that. So I don't know what he took and what he did not.
Okay. Because you kind of cast that in a bad light that, you know, he took equipment. The truth is, you don't know what was taken.
I was not there. I just know what I was asked to provide to the police officer over the phone.
Okay. And who hired most of the employees at the tree company? Was that Mr. Dixon or Miss Smithson?
I can't answer that for you. I can tell you that Ms. Smithson hired me. And since I've been on board, I have been the acting HR manager and I have been doing the hiring and onboarding of all the employees.
Okay. You stated there was some kind of an agreement where Mr. Dixon would buy this equipment and then it would then, when paid off, I assume, would be titled over to the tree company. Is that correct?
Correct.
Where is that agreement?
It was never written,
Oh, it's not a written agreement.
no. But he verbally told me,
When did that occur? What day did he tell you that?
this was in November of '24. We were going through the process of getting federal woman-owned status. And we had the conversation that some of the equipment was still in his name, even though the company paid for it. And he said, we need to transfer it.
Well, it seems to me that, you know, in effect, Mr. Dixon's doing a lot of running the company, but y'all are taking advantage of the woman-owned status to get these contracts. Is that not the truth of the matter?
No, I don't believe that.
That was not the intent of the way it was set up?
I don't believe that.
You do agree that there's some distinct advantages by setting up a business as a female-owned business,
There
correct?
are distinct advantages, yes.
And you get some very lucrative contracts with the government by setting them up that way, correct?
Yes, you can.
And if Mr. Dixon would have been on the articles, wouldn't have got that advantage, would you?
Yes, we would have, as long as she had 51% ownership.
If it's 50-50, you would agree that 51 is more than 50.
I'm just telling you that what the woman-owned status said, as long as she had 51%, that we would have still gotten the status.
But if it was 50-50, would you have got the status?
No.
Okay. Judge, may I have a moment?
You may. Redirect. All right, let me step down. All right. Ask you to raise your right hand and be placed under oath.
Please state your full name for the record.
Christopher Luke Sager,
And could you spell that last name for us?
Sager,
Mr. Sager, where are you currently employed?
Dixon Tree Service LLC.
How long have you been working for Dixon
About 2
Tree Service?
years.
2 years. And we do have a court reporter here, so I'm going to ask that you let me finish the whole sentence before you try to answer, just for a clear record, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, just to repeat for me, how long have you been working at Dixon Tree Services?
A little over 2 years.
And what is your role or title there?
I currently run a contract for CEMC.
Who is your direct supervisor?
Sabrina Smithson,
How long has Ms. Smithson been your direct supervisor?
since I was hired.
Has Mr. Dixon ever been your direct supervisor?
No, ma'am. He did hire me, though.
He hired you. Was Ms. Smithson involved at all in the hiring process?
No, ma'am.
How were you, or how did you know Mr. Dixon?
Through a friend.
And how long have you known Mr. Dixon?
I met him the day he hired me.
Okay, so could you explain that process to us?
I was working for another tree company. They didn't have space for me. He said, I know a guy. He called. I said, hey, this is what I know. He said, I'll give you 25 an hour to come work for my wife's business.
Over those 2 years, have you ever personally observed Mr. Dixon interact with Ms. Smithson at work?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you describe the way that he would speak to her?
Often demeaning,
Demeaning? What do you mean by that?
vulgar, just being around them in public would make you embarrassed.
Can you recall any specific instances where he verbally abused her?
Ma'am.
When was the last time that you saw him verbally abuse her?
Oklahoma, probably.
So you were on site in Oklahoma?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you describe that instance for us?
He had taken the bucket truck keys from one of my guys. They called me, so I showed back up, and he took the keys out of my truck as well. I spoke with the cops some. He really was not like Barry I knew when I first started working here.
Why was he taking the trucks?
And mine was in his name.
Has he ever attempted to take the truck from you previously?
No, ma'am.
Did he say if he needed to take the trucks?
He just said that if I wasn't going to work for him, he was going to have the keys.
Were you ever working for him, though?
No, ma'am.
What did he want you to do on his behalf?
Quit Sabrina and go run the contract for CEMC.
So did Mr. Dixon's actions that day impact the business?
Yes.
How so?
I was currently working as general foreman on that storm call, and I was unable to make it to some calls I needed to be at.
How many calls?
Approximately 3 from Mr. Mike Rose.
Are you aware of how much that would financially harm the business?
I'm not.
Is this the first time to your knowledge that Mr. Dixon has attempted to take items from the business?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been present for any other instances where he has tried to take items from the business?
No, ma'am.
Are you aware of any other items that have gone missing from the business?
I have been made aware of items missing, but on my personal behalf, I can't speak on it.
Has Mr. Dixon ever contacted you since, I'll strike that. Has Mr. Dixon contacted you since May of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he say when he contacted you?
He contacted me the day after Father's Day on that Monday, asking me to come work for him and run the CEMC contract. And he told me that if I didn't come work for him and run that contract, he would need the truck I was using on the contract, the trailer, and the four-wheeler.
So he was trying to take the business away from Ms. Smithson.
Yes, ma'am.
Stain.
What would the impact of you going to work for him do to Ms. Smithson's business?
The CEMC contract would have automatically been flipped straight to David.
Are you aware of how much that contract brings in for the business?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
How did his actions that day make you feel?
Not real great. It made me question even working for the company anymore.
Based upon what you've personally witnessed, do you believe Ms. Smithson has a reason to be afraid of Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Do you think Mr. Dixon, based off of what you've observed, intends to harm her business?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Baker, you wish to cross-examine?
Yes. Well, me and Mr. David Dixon went together.
So you were hired by Mr. Dixon, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he also procured this contract. Now, if he's not part of this organization, how did he procure contract and do hiring for this company?
I'm not sure.
And you said, he hired me and he said, I will offer you $25 to come to work for my wife's company. Who would say such a thing?
The man trying to hire somebody to work for his wife's company.
Okay. Did y'all go over testimony before you testified today?
Nope.
And you're sure he said my wife's company?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what benefit, I know you said a lot of this equipment was Mr. Dixon's. What if that equipment never existed and Mr. Dixon didn't provide that equipment in the first place? Would you have had a job?
You're asking him to speculate of whether or not certain equipment existed or didn't exist.
No. They asked this question. Their question was, what would the impact of not having that equipment be on the business? Now I'm going to go and ask him, what's the impact had that business never had that equipment? Because that's the same effect.
You don't see a difference between a business that has equipment in its inventory that it uses in the execution of contracts, and that equipment being removed versus the idea that the equipment never existed at all? I see a difference, but I'll allow you to ask the question for the record.
Well, because
Overrule the objection, I'm gonna let him.
all right. Now, if
Can you re-ask your question, please?
this company would have never had this equipment Mr. Dixon provided, would you have had a job?
I would have had a job, just not with this company, sir.
Okay. So this contract and your job wouldn't even have existed, correct?
Correct.
All that income that was derived from that would not have came in, correct?
Correct.
All right, now you said when you was in Oklahoma that Mr. Dixon took the equipment that was his, is that correct?
I know for a fact the truck that I was driving was in his name.
And it was a boom truck?
No, I was driving a 2024 F450.
Okay. Any other equipment that was his that day that you're aware of?
Not that I'm completely aware of.
Okay. Judge, may I have a moment?
You may.
Who landed the Oklahoma contract?
I'm not entirely sure. First
how long did you stay with Mr. Wells out there?
Where?
Oklahoma.
It was after you left in May?
Circuit Court Clerk Luann Greer reversed it.
Okay, but did that occur after you had left him in May?
Yes.
So he interfered with the first Oklahoma storm, he interfered with the second Oklahoma storm. Was there another instance of interference with your business after you had left?
Sustained. Redirect is limited to questions that dealt with the cross-examination.
This was from my cousin's company. Let me back. Okay, so starting with Dixon Tree Service, my son wanted to start his own business. COVID hit. He worked for Five Star Electric, was a contractor for me. And I walked in Dixon Electric. I knew Daryl Gillespie for 20 years. I said, Daryl, would you give me a contract for my son? They said, yeah. He said, I'll give you 1 bucket.
The fact of the matter is that under the law, there's a requirement.
It's a chipper with the winch on it. The winches are nice to have. Dixon wanted them. Here's another one. It's a brush grapple. It goes on the on one of the Dingo units, and it's shipped and to me. This one's shipped and invoiced to me. It's a Vermeer 1800 XL chipper. It was $43,500.
Approximately, don't have to add it up. Just that stack of equipment there, how much was that?
I'd say it's $500,000-600,000.
And in addition to the other $400,000 in bucket trucks, how much would that be?
$1 million, close.
Let me interrupt. I'm assuming both of you good lawyers are aware of the law in the state of Tennessee regarding what is marital property and what is separate property. Any property that's acquired during the marriage, from the date of the marriage forward, constitutes marital property. What I'm hearing is everything, even by the plaintiff's proof, everything about this business was acquired during this marriage, so therefore it's marital property. So establishing who got the invoices and so forth is fine, but what I'm concerned about is that I'm being asked to issue an order to keep him from interfering with this business. And, we'll, at a later date, have to litigate the value of the business and who gets what and, any other aspects of that. But the order of protection that I'm being asked to extend is one that basically to keep him from interfering with the business because of the proof that has been given about him removing items of property. And once we establish that her having control of the business, if in fact that's happened, and her having possession temporarily of items of equipment that's used in that, does not negate his claim for ownership or an interest in that property. It's just a question of, on a short-term basis, temporarily, how are we going to allow this business to operate? So you can introduce all of these invoices. I'm just simply saying, I acknowledge the fact that he is probably on these invoices and he has an ownership interest in it. It is not a question of that. It is a question of whether or not removing equipment during the time that is supposed to be worked on by these other employees or being used for jobs, constitutes a basis along with all of the other issues that have been raised for me to issue this order of protection. Clearly, the two of them cannot operate this business together.
I agree. But what had concerned me, and why I guess we're kind of going into this detail, is I've read the divorce complaint. I think she's setting up to say, well, all this equipment is not his. This was separate equipment owned by the LLC and blah, blah, blah. They're part and parcel. I'm just anticipating.
And that issue may be litigated down the road, but it is not an issue that I am going to consider today.
Fair enough. Judge, I'd move that in as, I think that's Exhibit 4, Judge.
I think so.
All right, so now let's move on to the situation. When you were calling your wife in Oklahoma, what was going on with that situation there?
So that's a contract I landed also with CenterPoint. I worked 2 years to land it. So so the first storm that she's talking about, she was off vacationing. Tammy was vacationing. I got a call from Mike Rose. He said, hey, I need X amount of crews. I need them ASAP. So let me back up one step. I got this same call 3 weeks previous. And I was in bed. It was like 5:30 in the morning. Sprinter was sitting right beside of me. He said, "Hey man, how fast can you get 20 crews up here?" I said, well, I looked at my phone. I think it said 6 hours. I said it's a minimum of 8 hours. 6 hours is from point A to point B on paper, but in reality, it's 8 hours. He said, "I can't do 8 hours. I can do 6. It's Mike, I can't make it, and I don't want to get in trouble with you guys because I've done that in the past and we got burnt. It just burns bridges. So anyways, they called somebody else and they never showed up. So he got us approved for that 8 hour, 10 hour mode time for depending on where you're going in Oklahoma. He called me at, I think it was 12 o'clock. I was doing a burn pile, had 2 people there helping me. And he said, "Hey man, I need crews. Are you in?" I said, "Yes." On the 10 hour mode, he said, "Y'all come on." He said, "Come quick." So I called Tammy, no answer. I called Sabrina, no answer. I called 20 times to different, and I'm trying to figure out rosters, who's coming. This is on a Sunday to add on to it, and I don't remember what day it was. And so that's the day she said I left the kids. So I had to be in Indianapolis for a meeting on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, but I wanted everything to run smooth to build this resume with this company. And it's a big deal. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. They probably invoiced for $600,000-700,000 off this storm at a minimum, 60-70% profit. So I go up there, we get to the park. I drove all night long. Well, all of us did. Everybody there. Had one truck break down. We got it going. Anyways, I get there. I'm the first guy there. 3 points of contact pull up. A guy from OG&E, DSR, Davy Resource Group, and the guy from Center Phase. They ask everybody to get out of the trucks. They lined them up. Then they ask who their name is. They went through every bucket truck. They checked the harnesses, the dates of the stickers in there for the boom testing. A couple of them were kind of out of date. They were running low. Anyways, did all that. Then we went to work. We worked about 2 weeks. And Sabrina, yes, I pulled her off the roster. Yeah, I pulled Jeremy off the roster. They're not there. They're nowhere to be found. They said they were coming. And yeah, if they were coming, they could have gladly took the roster. I would have gladly left. I had to be in Indianapolis in 2 or 3 days. That's a long drive for me from Oklahoma. So I called a couple days into it, and we did really well. I called a guy that worked for the company that I hired, Cliff. He come up there, took my place, and I hauled butt, and I drove all night to the house to get to a door that is locked. I guess she had the kids lock me out of the house, so I'm trying to climb through an upstairs window to get my computer. I took a shower, and I hauled butt. She wouldn't answer the phone because she's mad at me, whatever. I guess I'm the worst person in the world. And then I made it to Indianapolis to come home. I called Cliff. Everything ran smooth, well, to a certain degree after I left. And I was really proud of that moment because at that point, we had built a resume with this other company. So that's the first Oklahoma storm that we went on with this company. And it took me 2 years to build that with them.
All right, well, what I'm getting at is, Judge needs to hear about, all that back and forth. Y'all are bickering via text,
so
calling each other names.
I got a call from a lady about something about her septic tank. I go over there and I don't know what she's talking about. It don't make sense. It's this guy and this girl and this and that going on. So
when did that occur?
It was about 2 days before she left.
Okay. Where was she located at that time? Was she in Oklahoma? Was she in Tennessee?
No, she was in Tennessee.
Okay. What I want to talk about is the Oklahoma situation, where y'all are sending texts back and forth, and you drive to Oklahoma.
Okay.
I want to get to that.
Yeah, I wanted to sit her down and just say, hey, if you're wanting to do this and you want to do this, I don't want to go through what we're going through right now. I sat down with her at a table from she's here and I'm here. There wasn't no bickering, there wasn't no fighting. And the way I did it was I took the keys to the trucks, but they're my trucks. Straight up. The ones I took, the cop checked them. He said, them's her. Yes. Anyways, out of that, she sat down with me. Her and my cousin talked a little bit. I don't know. And I asked her, I said, why are you doing all this? Why are we? And she'll tell you that's the truth. I never threatened her. I never said anything like beat you up or none of that. And in the end, I said, do you love me? She said, yeah, I love you. I said, all right. I said, do you want me to leave? She said, yeah. I said, all right. And I left.
Well, you got to admit that language is pretty harsh in spots.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, she cusses every other sentence all the time. To deal with Tammy was talking about in the hot tub. Not half of that. It wasn't like that. I mean, and we cut up and joke around, but I don't beat her up. I don't threaten her.
Yeah. Well, what about this situation where sometime in the past, I guess, well, somebody's gonna shoot somebody in the stomach? What is that?
I don't know what she's talking about that. Now, I never threatened to shoot her in the stomach over with a baby. That's not true. It's just not. It's not true.
All right, but obviously y'all's language is a little rough.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll go another one. She, you know, she had an affair with a really good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and she didn't know if the baby was mine or not. That is true. I got the,
That was years ago.
yeah, that was years ago. That's
Okay.
20 years ago.
But that didn't have-
21,
Okay.
exact.
All right, gotcha. All right, but you're not out
If
to,
that occurred before this marriage occurred, then I don't want to hear anything about it.
Not another word. Yes, sir.
all right, but what I'm getting at is you don't have any intent to harm Miss Smithson, do you?
No, sir. I told her that in a text message.
Yeah. And the equipment, you're not trying to sabotage the company.
No, sir. She took all my stuff.
What
I
did
mean,
what did she take of yours?
well, she's got the F-350, the Jeep. She's got 3 or 4 or 5 trailers of mine. Chris gave me the foiler back, and then I chased one guy down the driveway in a 450. The truck was in her name, but the trailer and the Polaris was in my name. So I got that back, and she got the truck. But in Dixon County, they said anything that she had in her possession basically was hers, even though it's in my name.
Who told you that? Police?
Police guy, yeah.
Okay.
But he also turned me loose with that bucket, and that truck bucket was rented in my name.
Are you okay with everybody leave everybody's property where it's at?
I'd love to have the F-350 back and the Jeep back. Why would she need them? It's in my name, but yes, sir, that's
Okay,
fine.
but you do want those back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's move on to the children. You haven't had visitation, I guess, in a month and a half?
It's been 2 or 3 months. It's been longer than that. And she said she was bringing them back the other day to meet with me. They were doing something, and then next thing I know, that just wasn't gonna happen.
Do you want some back on a visitation schedule?
I would like that, yes, sir.
You know where the kids are staying right now?
She told my son that they were staying in another state. I have no idea.
Okay, she took the kids out of state?
Yes, sir.
All right, but you want to go back, what's your work schedule?
I work from the office. I work from home 2 days a week, and I hit the field 2 days a week, and I don't work on Fridays.
Okay, hold on, no, slower.
I usually hit the field when I want to, Mondays and Wednesdays. Usually is my days I do my audits and stuff.
Okay.
Then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work
I'm
from
not
home.
sure I understand. Who do you work for?
I work for a power company,
What power company?
Duke Energy.
Do what?
Duke Energy.
Duke Energy. All right, and where are they located?
They're located, well, they own Piedmont Gas in Nashville, so I go safety meetings there about every quarter. They're in South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, Indianapolis, Kentucky. They cover like 7 states. But I work
You
out
work
of the
out of
Midwest.
your home?
2 days a week I do.
All right.
And then 2 days a week I hit the field in somewhere in Indiana somewhere. It's a 2.5 hour drive from my house to the office.
What do you make in income?
About 100,000 or so.
You filed taxes last year?
I haven't filed, no. They did an extension on our taxes. They're tied together, and we have not done our taxes. And what I understood was we weren't doing them to October. I did the year before.
Good. But your $100,000, is that salary?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you think that's accurate?
It's real. It may be a little above.
We'll eventually find it out
Yeah.
from the records, but I'm asking for today with your best.
I'm throwing 100,000. It's gonna be. It might be 115. It's no less than 100.
Okay.
How much is your wife make?
Millions at this point.
Do what?
Well, not gross.
Millions?
Not gross revenue. How much is she actually clearing profit?
I know that they didn't do the taxes this year because they made so much profit that they didn't want to show it.
Well, the tax was not due till November
Well,
1st.
Hold on just a second. Mute this, please. Folks,
Morning, Mr. Dixon. You are currently married to Miss Smithson, right?
Yes.
And you've had conflicts during your marriage?
Everybody has conflicts in their marriage.
But your conflicts reached the point that your wife left you in May of 2025. Right?
I guess if that's what she's saying. She left for some reason.
She left in May of 2025.
I don't remember if it was May or not. I can't say. She left. I'm not sure what day.
Okay. Over a month ago.
And that's been 3 or 4 months ago.
Were you aware that she left because she didn't feel safe?
No,
And after she left the home and left you, you kept trying to contact her.
that's
didn't
true.
you? You called and texted her repeatedly,
And she called me back.
and you sent her messages even after she stopped responding.
Yes.
When she wouldn't respond, you would go and steal items from Dixon Tree Services LLC to force her to respond.
And I'm not stealing anything. It's mine.
When there's an objection, I'm going to tell you, like I told your wife, you need to be quiet while I deal with the
Oh.
objection, okay?
Yes.
The objection is to the form of the question, assuming facts not in evidence, because you're characterizing it as stealing. And as I explained, any equipment bought during the marriage is marital property. It may be in her name, it may be in his name. It doesn't matter if these trucks are in his name, if they were marital property and they were dedicated for the use of this LLC. I'm going to make an order today to deal with all of this, at least for a temporary basis. But you folks are probably looking at going to a special master to determine the assets and liabilities and the value of this company. And you may be looking at also having to invest in having someone hired to bring in and, evaluate the company. But it is not for today. I think right now we need to stick to what I'm being asked to do regarding how this is going to be dealt with in an order of protection. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'll rephrase, Your Honor. So when Miss Smithson would not respond to you, you would go and take items from Dixon Tree Services LLC job sites.
That's not all the way true.
What part of that is incorrect?
I took stuff because it was mine. Those chainsaws, they're mine. They're in my name. I bought them, 96 mile engines. You can go up there and get a list of them.
So
The bucket trucks are in my name. Every chipper there was in my name. So how?
Directing you back to my question, you
Hold
would
on
go.
hold on a second. Did you hear anything that I just said a minute ago about what doesn't matter whose name it's in? It doesn't matter. I know you referred to it as yours and the reason you took it, but I want to make sure you understand. I'm not saying this LLC is all hers. I'm not saying it's all yours. I'm saying it's marital property, and your lawyer can explain this to you. But marital property means each of you has an interest in this property. How we divide that is supposed to be equitable or fair. But right now, I want you to understand that you're saying that you went and took the truck because it's yours. It's marital property. It may be in your name, but it's still marital property. Go ahead.
So when she would not respond to you, you would go to Dixon Tree Services job sites and take equipment.
Not always.
But you would do that.
I did once. I did.
Just once?
Mm-hmm.
I will remind you that you're under oath.
That's fine.
How many times did you go to a Dixon Tree Services LLC job site and take
I
equipment?
went twice, but I didn't take anything one time.
How many of the items that we've discussed today that have been taken from Dixon Tree Services do you still currently have possession of?
The chainsaws I gave back, she sent a guy to the house, which I let him come. He got all the chainsaws. There's no chainsaws left.
What about the rest of the equipment that you took?
Which part? A bucket truck, a chipper?
All of it?
I got a bucket and a chipper. The chipper's in my name and the bucket is leased in my name.
But you took it from Dixon Tree Services?
I did, and the cops let me leave with it. The same as they let her leave with my F-350 and my Gladiator.
Was there equipment in the bucket truck when you took it?
No, everything was on the ground.
So it was cleared out?
Yes, I am.
And I'm not as familiar with trees, so what is a chipper?
It goes on the back of that bucket truck. It chips the brush. It's actually the original first chipper that we bought. together. Right. It's in my name, but it was us as a company.
What about trailers?
I bought those in my name too. I went to Hank Trailer and Chris Sager that was here, he said, hey, you know, come get your trailer. It's sitting here. And she already bought him another one. The machine that as Chris has, it's in my name also. I didn't take it so that he could keep going at the time. I thought a lot of Chris. The truck he had is in my name. I got it. She got him another one. You know, I don't forgot what you said. I'm sorry.
So are there currently any trailers in your possession?
Yes. And they're my personal trailers. We use them every day.
For what?
Tree work.
But you don't own a tree company outside, right?
I own Dixon Tree Service.
You're not on the LLC formation
No,
paperwork.
I'm not, but I'm on Dixon Tree Service. I own my own tree service. My son owns a tree service. Her son, he does tree work for different builders all the time. He's got storm contracts now himself. We use them every day.
How often did
I
Miss
bought and paid for them.
How often did Miss Smithson tell you to stop contacting her?
One time.
And
In a text message.
and what did you do after that?
I tried to contact her. I did.
How many times did you call her after she sent that text message?
Probably 20 to 50.
How many times did you text her after you sent that text?
20 to 50.
Do you understand that that is harassment?
I do, at this point.
And you also showed up at a hotel where she was staying
Mm-hmm.
after she left you.
Yes.
She didn't tell you where she was staying.
She told me she was leaving to go on storm, not going to the beach with Jeremy Wells.
She didn't tell you which hotel she was staying at.
No.
But you showed up there anyway, didn't you?
I did.
She didn't invite you.
She didn't invite me.
She didn't give you the address.
No.
You went there on your own, knowing that she was trying to avoid you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes to my question?
It is a yes.
While you were on your way there, you left her several threatening voicemails, correct?
I don't know about threatening, but yeah, I was mad. I was really angry.
You told her you were going to teach her a lesson if you got there.
Maybe so. I'm not doubting it. I said a lot of things.
You also told her that you were going to inform your children that she was sexually promiscuous. I'm not going to repeat the exact language that you used.
That's fine. Yeah, and I was no telling what she's told them about me. I know
So-
it's not good.
You've threatened to degrade her to your children.
A lot of people say a lot of things in heated moments.
So
I'm one of
that's
them.
a yes to my question.
Okay, yes.
You told her that if she didn't answer the phone and you got all the way down to where she was in Oklahoma, you're not going to like this. I'm telling you.
I mean, I don't think she did like it. But I got down there, I didn't do anything to her. I sat down with her and discussed, we had a 30-minute discussion and I left.
And you told her in those voicemails that you were going to teach her a effing lesson. Again, I'm omitting the words that
Yeah,
you're using.
yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that these are threats?
Yeah, but I'm not planning on hurting her. That wasn't my thoughts. That isn't what I was thinking.
But that's not what you told her.
Okay. I was just trying to get her to answer the phone and explain to me what was going on. That's what I
And
wanted.
you've hurt her previously.
No, I have not.
You've never hurt her.
No,
You've never kicked her.
no,
You've never tried to kick her.
no.
Let's talk about the Dixon Tree Services LLC. This is a single member LLC, right?
Only because I told her that I trusted her not to ever do me wrong, and she did. Yeah, I put it in her name. Yes, ma'am, I did. And I landed every contract. I did every step. She had no idea what this business is even about. Never worked in it one time in her life. I lived, ate, and breathed it all my life. I got through the apprenticeship because I climbed 150-foot towers from bottom to top to take them down. That's how I got the respect to land these contracts. Now, am I perfect? No, ma'am. I am not perfect by no means. But I didn't do all that she's saying. And I know she wants to take everything. Everything that I had, the reason I had these conversations was built for my kids. The rental houses, the business, the whole thing is built for my kids. It wasn't built for me and her. I didn't want anything. I wanted to leave it to my kids.
Mr. Dixon, hold on just a second. Mr. Baker, you stood a moment ago. I was anticipating you were gonna say something. Well, I mean, part of what I have to do today is to determine whether or not the ex parte order of protection that Judge Lockhart Mash, the amended ex parte order that Judge Lockhart Mash put down, is going to be extended. And because it is a pending divorce, necessarily part of what I have to do today is to try to put some order down that's going to try to keep the peace between these parties and make some sort of a temporary division of personal property. So that's, pardon me, so I'm going to overrule your objection and allow this to continue.
Shortly after Ms. Smithson left you, you started to try and sabotage Dixon Tree Services LLC, right?
By doing what?
Overruled. I think sabotaging is not a subjective thing. It's pretty well easily understood if the allegation is being made in the form of that question, and it is cross-examination. His question to you was, by doing what?
Well, you started taking equipment from the business.
No, not originally. No, that's not what I did. She didn't actually act like she left me like we were fighting. She left like she was going on storm. And she ended up with Jeremy and went, I don't know where, and ended up in Cape Hatteras on an island with him for a couple months. You know, and I did that later on. I started getting some stuff. But now they snatched stuff from my house, out of my garage, everything. I'd come home and there'd be stuff gone. There's this gone, that gone. And this is the other thing. So, you know, how is it fair that she gets to keep all this, but I can't have anything of mine? You know, like the trailers you're talking about, I bought them. I went and got them. I paid for them. I don't understand.
When you bought them.
Yeah?
You bought them for Dixon Tree Services
ma'am.
LLC to use.
I bought them for me.
For you,
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
company that you didn't have.
The company that my son has. Jacob's Tree Service, Connor, they've been doing it for years.
So then why is that not what's on the invoices that your attorney presented to the court today?
I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
invoices that you passed up say that they were meant to go to Dixon Tree Services LLC.
I have no idea. Can't answer that.
Okay.
Sustain the objection. I think it is established that many of these invoices were in his name individually. They were certainly not in his son's name, and that there was only one, I think, that was about Dixon Tree Service. But once more, I will reiterate, it doesn't matter whose name it was in. It may be the only relevance as to whose name it was in is because whether or not that was dedicated for the use in the business and therefore ought to continue to be used in the business. Ownership, valuation, whether it constitutes a marital asset, all of that is going to be determined at a later hearing.
Yes, I'm simply trying to establish for the court today, Your Honor, that this equipment has been used by Dixon Tree Services LLC historically since the business, and that it has impeded the business's function of him taking these items back.
Mr. Baker, when you object, would you just push your microphone button on, please? Go ahead.
So the majority of those invoices that you passed up that are in evidence, is that for equipment that has been primarily used by Dixon Tree Services LLC?
It's been primarily used by my sons, both of them, and the business at a 50-50. They use anything they want whenever they want. I never turn them down for nothing.
Okay. So I know you stated that you gave a lot of the equipment back to Dixon Tree Services LLC or back to various employees. But how much equipment did you take?
I didn't take much. A lot of it was already there at the house, like the dingoes and stuff, they never did take them. They were just sitting in the field. One guy she had out there looking for it at night, she called me and said, he can't find the dingo, he drove right past it. It was right on the other side of the black trailer that is mine that she took the other night. I don't know why, it's in a mode, the field wasn't bush hogged, I don't know why they missed it, but it was right over there by a log pile, I used it on the log pile. I pulled it out of there and he come and got it. I never did snatch it, it was always at the house. There was 2 of them, they were both, I believe, there.
And how many times did you go to active job sites and interrupt after May?
Once. That was it.
Once? When did you go?
Once. The job site over in Shelbyville, they didn't work. They weren't working when I went over there. And the one over there she's talking about in Smithville, I went over and ate lunch with a power company guy and tried to kind of talk to him because she don't know him. She never met the guy in her life. He knows me very well, known him for years. And I did grab that bucket. That's what I grabbed. And I gave it right back. It's the one that she's talking about. She's missing chainsaws. The chainsaws were in the building. I didn't snatch the chainsaws. My son got them off there to use, but he put them in the building. The William guy come and got them. I told him where they were. And that bucket's in my name also. Even though it's a business, I'm sorry.
How many times have you interrupted workers working?
One time.
And why did you interrupt them?
Because I went to get my Jeep up here at the police department. I said they had snatched that Jeep. It was Chris Sager that grabbed it. And they said, well, it's a marital deal, so there's nothing we can do even though it's in your name. So I said, so basically you're telling me I can go down the road right here and grab that bucket truck that's rented in my name. As long as she ain't there, I can just run off with it. He said, yeah. So I drove right down there and I grabbed that bucket truck and I took off. They called the law. I come back. And I sat and talked to him. They said, what's your name? I gave him my name. He said, there ain't nothing we can do here. Civil matter. Just like they told me on my Jeep. And I told the cop there, I said, you tell her, I'll give her that bucket truck back if she'll give me the Jeep. You know, even Stephen.
You interrupted Dixon Tree Services that afternoon, right?
I did.
In the operation of the
They were
business.
sitting there asleep on the side of the road, if you call that interrupting. They were doing lunch or whatever they were doing. They backed up other than one of them. He tried to get the chipper off and I took off. And I was like, you ain't getting the chipper. But all the chainsaws, they were already off. They were sitting in the woods beside the trees and so forth.
You were aware that doing that would impact the operations of the business.
Sure, the same as her grabbing that Jeep would, and everything else she's done. She grabbed all my guns the other night too at the house while she was there. Never got anything of hers, just took my guns.
You're aware that while an order of protection is pending, you're not supposed to have guns, right?
No, that's not true. The cops told me that was not on my case.
Are you aware that if an order of protection is entered today, that you will not be able to have access to your guns?
I don't know why not. I've not said anything about shooting anybody. Don't have any kind of criminal background whatsoever.
So circling back to that incident, that was on July 11th when you stole the trucks.
I didn't steal
When you
anything.
took the vehicles from the work site.
I don't know the date.
That was the same day that you were served with your order of
I
protection.
can't tell you dates. I
That's
don't
okay.
know.
Just
don't
for
know
your
dates.
reference, you went to the job site after you were served with the order of protection.
Nothing was said about the job sites. Only thing they said is I couldn't come to her and talk to her. And the other thing, the house, I understood because she moved out, it was okay for me to be there. I guess now she can still pull up at the house and I'll go to jail or have to run or something. I don't know the deal with that, so.
So directing you back to my question, you were served with the order of protection and then
Okay.
you went to the job site, yes?
Maybe.
You don't know?
I don't remember.
This was last week and you don't know?
No, I don't remember. Too much has went on.
Okay. And over the weekend of July 4th, you spoke to your wife, didn't you?
No, not that I'm aware of. Maybe, I don't know. No, I did not.
Do you recall threatening to burn her property?
No, I don't remember. I'm not saying I didn't, I just don't remember.
When she wouldn't
Oh,
respond.
yes, I do. Hold on, I'm sorry. I did threaten her to do that a dozen times because I was pissed. I did do that. Then she hit me she called me or texted me and said something about the guy in the field that works for us. She fired him, now he works for me. She said that he posted something on Facebook saying that he burned her stuff or something. I don't know, and he didn't. We didn't burn anything but logs, and I don't know where she got it other than she was scared I was going to burn her stuff. I'm sure, because I did say that. That is true. I threatened to do all kinds of stuff, but I didn't burn anything. Matter of fact, I left everything, and she should be able to verify this. I never done anything with anything of hers. The only thing that I did do was cleaning up the outside was a bunch of old junk like wood and stuff like that outside the house that she had piled up. That it was just stuff where we had worked on a barn. I didn't do anything with anything of hers, and at all. And I did. She had her cousin, or no, her nephew snatched a truck the other day. He comes over. He's my son's best friend. He come over and grabbed a truck while I wasn't there. And it's an old truck that I bought in Indiana. She loves it. Her uncle and I drove up there and got it. I think I gave $4,500 for it. And I told him, I said, if I can get that truck back from Nevin, I'll put all her clothes in there and you can come get it or whatever. I don't know, and that never happened. But, and like I said, and I don't know. And Nevin said he's going to bring the truck back. I said, just bring it out there and leave the keys in it. I don't care anything about it. She loves it, whatever. But I was just going to put her clothes and stuff in there and all her stuff.
All right. But you were served with the order of protection on Friday, July 11th. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't know the dates. I'm sorry. I don't. I know I was served. I don't know what date, what time.
So as of the date you were served, you were under court order not to contact your wife, right?
Okay.
Did you understand that the order prohibited you from indirect contact with her?
I haven't had any indirect contact. That was before the court or the whatever, when he took the truck. He took it to a funeral, he said, or something. I don't know.
That means you couldn't use people like employees to get messages to her, correct?
Sure, but I didn't.
But you went to the property and to the business and took equipment.
And I didn't leave any messages with them.
But you were aware that you doing that would get back to her.
Sure.
You were aware that her employees would contact her and say, hey, your husband just came here and ran off.
That's exactly right. I did know that. Yep.
And you did not have, no, strike that. So even though the court ordered you to stay away from her, not to contact her indirectly,
I didn't contact her.
you still went and did something that you knew people that would get back to her.
Well, you know what? They didn't have to call her if they didn't want to.
But you knew they would. Right?
I'm not going to say one way or the other. Well, they snatched stuff from me. They never contacted me.
But didn't you just state just a second ago that, oh, I did this so that I get the Jeep back?
I was hoping to, yeah. I was hoping to get the Jeep back. That was my thoughts.
Just a brief moment, Your Honor. In these 200, are you aware of how many texts that you sent her?
200,000, 200, I don't know. It's a lot. I know that.
I know in 1 week, in between July 3rd and July 10th, 7 days, you texted her 263 times.
Okay.
Are you aware that she only texted you 3 times?
She called me a couple times. Did she mention that?
Not asking about calls, I'm asking about these text messages.
All right, I'll agree with you. I don't know about 200. That's a lot. That was,
It's 263.
okay.
And that doesn't count that you testified you called her 20 to 50 times
Okay.
after she told you to stop contacting her.
She answered some of my calls and she called me back several times.
You haven't provided us any proof of that today.
I'm not trying to.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No, sir. Yeah, I lost it. My son, both of them were, I was sitting in a truck and they said, what do you think about the house Mama bought Tammy's brother in Alabama? I said, she ain't bought no house in Alabama. He said, yeah, she did. Both of them clicked it up on their phones. I said, for Brandon, some guy named Brandon. And she's partnership with
How
Tammy.
does this respond to your question?
I don't have any.
Stop talking when I'm talking. How does this respond to your question? It's non-responsive. I'm not even going to wait for the objection. Mr. Dixon has a tendency to want to say something to justify himself in everything he does, regardless of whatever the question is. So please try to conform your answer to what you're asked.
Yes, sir.
You've got no intentions of harming your wife.
I do not, and I apologize for those text messages, and I do need to own that.
All right, no further questions, sir.
Anything further? Thank you, sir. You may step down. Mr. Baker, do you have any other witnesses? You have any rebuttal proof you wish to offer?
Yes, I would briefly call Miss Sabrina Smithson back to the stand.
Call who? Mrs. Smith? All right, Mrs. Smithson. Come up, Mrs. Smithson. I would remind you that you remain under oath.
Ms. Smithson, I just want to circle back on one point that Mr. Dixon brought up. When he said that he went to this Oklahoma storm and he pulled you off the roster, what are his words? What did he do?
So, just where?
Based upon the observations of these parties as they testified, their demeanor, their behavior, their demonstration of anger, and that obviously results in my finding that there should be an order of protection, but it also is based upon the text messages that I have reviewed, the voice recording that was set forth. And I understand, you know, when you go through a divorce, and this is Mr. Dixon's problem, you know, when you're going through a divorce, you suddenly find your world is upended. Former Judge Leonard Martin used to give the expression to cases when I was representing people in those situations that going through divorces is painful. It's like taking off all your clothes and running naked through a briar patch. You just hurt all over. And it is a very difficult process to go through. But having residual anger, having anger that clouds your judgment, as I think Mr. Dixon has had, makes everything worse. And that's why we're here today. Yeah, it may be that you're angry at your wife, but and he will not be allowed to remove any of the equipment in the possession of Dixon Tree Service or Mrs. Smithson. Likewise, she will not be allowed to remove any equipment that's in his present position. Whatever he has in his possession, he'll have. Don't look at her, look at me. So it'll be an equal situation where she's going to be prohibited from, and if it needs to be in a separate order, it can be done so. But she needs to understand that whatever he has in his possession in the way of equipment, furniture, and furnishings, she can't go into the house to remove any of those items. He has exclusive possession of the marital residence. She's living in an Airbnb. So, you know, if she has something in that house that she wants to remove, she and her lawyer can get with Mr. Baker, or they can file a motion in court, and one of the judges need to realize if they've got some reason that they want to go, then that'll be up to him. These children have two parents. Mrs. Smithson, to her credit, says he's a good father, but the child or children that we're talking about also are in the middle of the situation. I am putting an order down that specifically and explicitly prohibits either one of these parties from discussing this case with the minor children of property in this case. I'm not going to, at this moment, order you to a special master. The reason I don't do that is I rarely ever send people to a special master. Why? Because it's my job to make these decisions. If I send you to a special master, you're talking about scheduling probably several days of hearings. You're probably having several thousands of dollars in expense to both your attorneys and several thousands of dollars of expense to the special master's fees that would be there. And then the special master makes towards their spouse if it can be avoided. So sometimes we all get angry and sometimes things get said in the spirit of anger that we regret, and we all need to try to make sure that those things don't happen. So let's try to make sure that you can understand you both got good lawyers. Let them help you to go through this process. Do your due diligence on the discovery. Let this business continue to, it can only be in Mr. Dixon's best interest that this Dixon Tree Service continues to be successful because he has an ownership interest in it. So it's only in her interest that it be successful as well. And we'll deal with that at a later date. Is your microphone on?
I guess.
It is now.
Did we address this F-350?
The what? F-350?
His pickup truck? All of the ruling?
I'm waiting to see, they had an objection to the bucket truck and the chipper. Did I understand correctly? That's in his possession?
It's in his possession. It rented in the name of the business.
Who has it?
We have it, but my client says he has rented it. It is not rented in the name of the business.
Your Honor, I can file that as a late filed exhibit to this hearing.
Well, days. That is the judgment of the court.
Judge, can I late file the rental thing for Mr. Dixon on that?
You can late file anything you want to.
Okay, thanks, Judge.
This meeting is adjourned.
All rise. We have it, but my client says he has rented it. It is not rented in the name of the business.
Your Honor, I can file that as a late filed exhibit to this hearing.
Well, does she not have other equipment that she can operate this business with the chipper and?
It's a $5,000 a week rental.
When Mr. Dixon rented, which is $3,400.
Mr. Dixon has a job. Bucket truck and the chipper will go back to Dixon Tree Service on a temporary basis. His ownership interest in it will be preserved. He'll have it returned to them within 5 days. That is the judgment of the court.
Judge, can I late file the rental thing for Mr. Dixon on that?
You can late file anything you want to.
Okay, thanks, Judge.
This meeting is adjourned.
No, I'm totally fine. Like, love it, love it, love it. Can I ask why?